Morning. Mike Garcia, man, what's going on, man? You still out there pushing that dirt or what? Rouser holding it down.
Yo.
Morning.
Back in my
Morning.
unit.
Do what?
That text message my buddy sent me. The corporal was like, back in my old unit.
Yeah. Back in my old unit. People make the same mistake today. They make the same mistake. They get another boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife. Well, my last person. Oh, stop it.
Yeah. No.
Stop the nonsense.
Yep.
Anytime people say my last unit, I say, man, what does the reg say? Looks like y'all weren't even doing it by regulation anyway. You're talking about my last unit.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because when my son transferred to the college he's at now, a lot of these kids make that mistake too. They say, well, not that my son said it, because I told him, the first thing I told him, I said, bro, don't ever bring up your old school at a new school or your new team from your old team. Like, just, it is what it is. But the coach, he used to make fun of him all the time. Like, if he would make a mistake, he'd be like, what you think? This your old school? Well, you guys just get the levy? He's like, man, coach, man.
Yeah, now the coach can do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
the coach can bring up, because if you're not bringing good qualities, which I already know your son is, but he ain't perfect. So there's going to be a quality that the coach is quickly going to recognize, and just to, just for, how do you say that, the kindest way to say it? Just to get him to see the picture. He's going to say, hey, I don't know what y'all did at y'all's old school. We don't do that here. So it doesn't matter if it's the person's fault or the school actually taught them that. It's just a way of saying, do better. So right. We don't do whatever that is.
Right. They'd be like, oh, yeah. Especially like the freshmen. Because I stayed for like a week just to watch some of the training and make sure everything was, that we picked the right school and everything. And the coach had me crying. He's a character, bro. He's so funny. He's like, what do you think this is? Your high school? Oh, you thought you was an alpha dog in your school? You ain't nothing around here, boy.
Yeah.
I was crying.
Yeah. That attitude always, like the football coach attitude on the basketball field, that's the funniest thing to me, though, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
It's hilarious because, they're not hitting each other and slamming each other and any of that, but they still act like a football coach. It's just hilarious to me. But I tell you what, people may not like it, but I mean, I hate to say it, but you don't raise your voice at a grown man, you ain't going to get your point across. I promise. I promise. Not everybody shows up on the playing field like Jesus, just so humble to understand. No, that'd be nice. But
the funny thing is that football players don't even hit each other and slam each other like when we was growing up. These boys don't even hit each other during practice. They got have you seen them, Trot? They have like these big bubble protectors on their helmet during practice now. Like, I remember getting my clock ring, bro.
What do you mean they got big bubbles? What are you talking about? Show me.
Oh man, I'm at
like everybody's doing what you're about to show me, or what?
Yeah, it's almost like a new CDC type of thing now, where even in college, you see a lot of colleges they'll practice, and they have this. It's almost like a cushion over their helmet. So if your helmet hits each other, how you can hear the clacking in your head, and you'll hear the tinnitus for a couple of days.
Yeah, no, I got tinnitus like 100% nonstop. Like it's not gonna stop, man. It's there, 100%. All them explosions, blah blah. I knew it too, man. I knew it. And those earplugs. I don't know if you heard about that huge lawsuit about against those yellow and green earplugs. Those are the ones I was using.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah. So
Let me see.
with or without them, I was destined to have tinnitus. But yeah. So I don't know what you're talking about. I have no clue what you're talking about right now, as far as
Hold on,
this
I'm gonna try
gear
to
they're
show you.
wearing. Yeah.
Let me see images. Yeah, so it's like this. It's called the Guardian Cap. It reduces the football concussions.
You got a
Look,
picture of it?
I'm about to open my camera so you can see it, man.
The Guardian Cap. Nah, bro, I ain't never seen that. And the purpose of that is in case they hit, so they're not supposed to be hitting.
So it's like, I guess they use them during practice, I guess, nowadays. Like more head injuries and stuff like that. So like, now that's a nice helmet right there.
Yeah. I wonder how much that thing costs, that Guardian Cap or whatever you call it.
I don't call it that. That's what they call it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what they call it.
Yeah, see, like these are like college. See, these are like NFL players, bro. You see how they wear them now during practice and stuff like that.
Hey, go
They
Raiders,
don't have
bro. Go Raiders.
they don't have a price. How much are they?
I don't know. Guardian Cap football price. Let me see. Let me just type in price. Maybe that'll work. They're like $70.
$70. I ain't gonna lie, man. For a second there, I thought you were gonna say $500. I was like, oh my lord, here we go. Here we go.
It's just a bunch of cushion.
No, I can tell. That's what it looks like to me.
Look at this guy. This is an NFL player, bro. These are the NFL players wearing this thing.
And what's the main reason? The main reason is to protect themselves. Is that the point wearing this? So you're telling me in 2023 your helmet has a helmet? Oh my Lord, have mercy.
What is a Guardian Cap football?
Your helmet has a helmet. So does that mean that your football helmet needs a helmet too now, or what?
Yeah, so it says it's a soft shell, blah, 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 that goes outside of regular NFL helmets, engineered to impact reduction and can reduce concussions up to 10 to 20%, depending on how many players involved in the collision wearing it. The NFL.
So there's a chance.
So it says the NFL has mandated the use of Guardian Cap during certain positions during key part of training in camp March of 2022. The Guardian Cap was developed by Guardian Sports and received funding from the NFL's first Head Health Tech Innovation Challenge series in 2017. The NFL and the NFLPA have worked collaboratively with the Guardian Cap manufacturer to test and evolve the design of the cap on a data, whatever. It's basically just for NFL players, or like everybody's wearing now, but it's to prevent like a 10% chance of a concussion, which is crazy to me though, Trot, because the reality is in practice, you probably don't get much concussions. It's usually in the game you're going to get a concussion in practice. I don't know that that's like the place where you get your most concussions per statistics, you know?
No, I know. That's how you know it's full of crappies, bro. That's just full of crappies. It's kind of one of those.
Now I will say one of those work is that chin strap. When you get that plastic chin strap, that'll save your life right there, bro.
Yeah. Jordan said the ephod has an ephod. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
The ephod has an ephod, bro. Hey, can you bring me ephod 1 and then ephod 2? Bring it here in a minute.
Yep.
Victoria, what's up? YOLO, what's going on, man? Yeah, so one of our morning Victoria, what's up? One of our morning descaled battle buddies had a Bible study and started telling, the people, hey man, like, the spiritual notation right here is kind of like this, and they're like, what are you talking about? And he's like, what do you mean? Like, well, because excuse me. And he started going over spiritual things in the Bible and said that a whole bunch of them got offended. It was like, what are you talking about? He said one of them got real upset with them, and he was like, well, I'm not really sure what I did wrong, but and I said, what? I said, what happened? So he's telling me what happened, and I said, you can't put a elephant on someone's plate and tell it to eat it, And if they're a baby, you can't put a steak on their plate. I said, you gotta, if they're ready to be weaned, at least cut the steak for them, at least cut it and say, here, take this little bitty bite. You have to cut it for them because they don't even see the steak. So if they don't even see the steak, how are they going to cut the steak? So you see the steak, and so you cut a little piece. And you say, here, eat this right here. But it all goes together, right? So like when you hear people say, Jess says it all the time, we'll be talking, she's like, oh, I got a little nugget. Well, if you're hopping around from one side of the Bible to the other with a bunch of nuggets, they're not all coming from the same piece of meat. So, like,
well,
I'm talking about subjects. I'm talking about subjects. That's what I mean when I say, like, yeah, obviously the whole word is one big piece of meat. I'm saying subjects. So, like, if you're talking about water baptism over here, and then you're talking about Trinity over there, and you want to talk about Book of Revelation way over there, you need the whole steak. Why are you just getting little nuggets and tidbits of like everything? That's not how it's done. You focus on the steak that's on your plate, and you eat it one bite at a time. For instance, like the rod. The rod is a steak all in itself. And if you tell somebody one scripture about the rod and then never talk to them about it again, well, just, that doesn't make any sense. And then if you tell them all the rod, all at one time, that could be an issue too. That's why they stoned Stephen. Stephen was stoned because the truth was so, the truth, he got straight to the jugular, bro. I see him sitting on the right hand of the Father. So no more talk or ideas that he might be the Messiah. He's the Messiah. No. There he is sitting on the right hand, bro. It drove these people nuts, bro. Like, so if they have ears to hear, they'll hear. But in the meantime, just give them one piece at a time.
Yeah, and another thing is I've seen people do this where they try to explain, and I've literally seen this, right? I'll be in the shadows and I'll see it, and people will be like, they'll bring up the rod or faith is hair or something like that, which is true, but then they can't really fully explain it, and they'll be like, well, how you figure? Like they'll ask question like, how you figure that? And they'll be like, well, Trot said so.
Oh my Lord! Trot said they're gonna be
Right.
like, "Who is Trot?"
That's why
Who
they
is
start
Trot?
saying, Trot ain't God around here.
Oh man, that time I heard that dude say that, bro, I was like, God, I was like, man, what's going on the other side of TikTok over here? Like, I couldn't have been in that live 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes, and he was the one hosting. It was his live. I still see him on today, but I'm like, God, he's not God. Why do y'all keep talking to me about Trot? There's like 4 or 5 people in there saying, no, but Trot said Trot, and then now they're talking about Trot for 5 minutes, and he's like, don't take over my live with Trot. I mean, that's the attitude. I was just like, oh, my Lord. All right. Let me get out of here, man. My bad for coming. I'm sorry. I apologize. But, Renee, what's going on?
Oh, just another day, man.
Oh, well, you better start off coming in here saying your day is fantastic, ma'am.
He said, oh.
Better come in here and say your day's doing amazing. You ain't trying to hear it today.
Look here. I woke up. That makes it amazing already.
Amen.
There you go. Right there. Right there. Already an amazing day.
That's
I had
it.
an old lady at the store. I had an old lady at the store the other day. I went in there. I was going to buy me some pecans. And she's like literally right in front of the pecan section. And like, the section where the pecans are, it's only like a foot long. And she's a foot wide. She's not a big person, but I can't get any pecans. So I'm just waiting. And she turns around. She's like, are you doing okay today? I said, I'm doing amazing. She's like, oh, well, that's good. I said, I'd be doing more amazing if I can grab a bag of those pecans right there. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get. I said, man. I said, if you were waking up amazing, you'd have had 2 bags in there waiting to be checked out over there. She's like, oh, just hush. I was like, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I was giving her a hard time. She looked at me when I said, oh, I'm doing amazing. She goes, oh, that's good. She was probably about 80 years old. She reminded me of my grandma.
That's funny.
Oh, it was hilarious. She looked at me like, oh, well, that's good.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I was expecting the typical, I'm fine.
Yeah, oh, I guarantee she's waiting for someone. She's like, well, I've been pampering people for years. Let me pat you on the back for 30 minutes. Talk about
That's funny.
it.
Okay,
But
I
again,
gotta show you this.
Oh.
Hang on a second. Where am I? There I am. All right. So my neighbors taking care of their garden. Look at this.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, let's boil them bad boys.
That's a zucchini.
That's
Bro,
a
give her the
huge
big
zucchini,
screen. Give her
dude.
the big screen. Give her the big screen.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm
I'm like, what are you feeding the zucchini?
Look at that.
Jeez.
That's amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
Man, I bet you don't have to ask that
You
zucchini
know-
how he's doing. Hey, zucchini, how you doing? I'm doing
Whoa.
fantastic.
But
Yeah.
you know,
Look at all
you know
that
what that
okra.
is, though. You know what that is when you let the zucchinis overgrow like that, they actually lose more flavor.
Man, my kids could eat on that for a month.
You
We
are
can
not
only
lying.
eat on that for 2 days. I got
Yo,
6
Trot, I got
people
a
in this
question for you,
house.
bro.
You got a question? Oh my Lord! Well,
Yeah,
let's just see how this question goes.
It's just a yes or no. Yes or no.
Well, I mean,
That's it.
it
No-
could be.
no
It
description,
could.
no
It,
detail.
it could. It could
What?
be a yes or no. It could be. It
Do
could
you
be. You're telling
believe
me?
have so if one of the seals has been opened, then that means all the seals have to be open, correct?
Here, I'll say this. So, this is the only answer you're going to get from me. Let me know if you're ready for it or not.
Well,
No. This is the
Just
only answer you're going to get from me.
have this is my question. Have the
I heard your
seals been
question.
open? Yes or no?
I heard your question. I heard your question. But there's only one answer I'm going to give. You just let me know if you want it or not.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll mute.
If you're holding a scroll, or better yet, let me ask you this. If you had a scroll and your scroll had a seal on it, my question to you is could you read it if it had a seal?
Not if if it had a seal, you could not
and-
read it.
Okay, let me say this. I am not uneducated on all the types of scrolls that were out there in the world. I'm asking you just simple questions, okay? I'm not ignorant about scrolls. If I was, I probably wouldn't
I'm
even
just
answer
thinking
you
of
at
the
all.
ones I saw in the movie where they had the wax seal and they put it on there.
Well, there's all kinds of other ones, but that's fine. You can think about that one. But if there's a seal on it, you can't open it. And you said no. Okay.
Right.
So if there was a scroll in front of you and it had 7 seals, and one of them was broken, could you read it?
No, you had to break the other 6.
Okay. So with that being said, the reason why I say this all the time is because that does need to be in consideration before people start diving around in there with these seals. Okay. Now, is there more
that's
to it
why
than that?
I asked,
Obviously,
has the scroll been opened, yes or no?
But you're talking about Revelation. Bubba, I don't discuss Revelation.
Every
Every man has his own. Every man has his own Bible, and if he wants to know, then God will tell him. That's what I'll say about that.
I agree.
Yeah. So.
Okay, we can move on.
What ends up happening?
It's okay.
Yeah. Well, you can't. It's all good. So you have water baptism, Trinity, oneness, Revelation. These topics cause people to cause division, argue, ruin relationships, because everybody is not studying like they're claiming. They're not. They're liars. I've met them. I meet them all the time. And you can't. So like if there was 10 people in front of us, just me and you, Brett, and we're just having a discussion, eventually one of those 10 are going to say, well, can I tell you what I think? And you're like, sure. So they tell you what they think.
I've done it myself before personally.
But the reason why they tell you what they think is because they think you're telling them what you think. So therefore, there's no absolute truth. There's no truth. We all just sitting around here thinking we know what we're talking about. And that's a very sad thing. And so there is a truth. And so because man A doesn't know the truth on a particular, we're not talking about the Bible, the whole entire thing. Nobody knows all the truth, okay? But if somebody happens to know a truth about a subject, they're hated because they're claiming they know something. The carnal mind knows how to hate. It doesn't know how to love. And if you trust the flesh, you'll fail every time. So, Brett, me and you are friends, but I don't trust your flesh. I love you, but I don't trust your flesh.
I don't trust my own flesh. I don't blame you, bro.
Well, I mean, again, my own flesh, you're anybody's flesh. You just can't. Jesus did not appease people by using their flesh. He did not do that. John the Baptist was in prison. And he was already in his feelings in his belly.
He actually called, think about it, he actually called Peter out because he was in his flesh when he didn't want him to go get crucified. Right? He called Peter Satan because he was in his flesh.
But that's my point but he didn't appease it either. So he called it out, but he didn't appease it. So when John the Baptist was in prison and he told his disciples, go ask Jesus, is he the one or am I supposed to be expecting another one? He just told everybody he was the one. Because he told everybody in the spirit, but in his flesh, because he's in prison, now all of a sudden it's like, well, hold on, man. Is this supposed to be like this? And so the flesh will get the best of anybody. And so in his flesh, he's asking, out of fear, he's asking the disciples, and Jesus started healing people. He didn't answer them. He didn't tell them, yes, tell John, yes, I'm the one. That's not what he did because he understands what the flesh is doing. So he brought the sword. So he did what the old scriptures.
He used the scripture, right?
He said,
hold
on a second. What he did is he did what the word said the Messiah would do. He started healing people. Amen. He opened after he was done. He said, now go tell John what you saw. That's what he says. So when they went and told John, hey, John, well, what did he say? Well, he didn't say nothing. He just started healing people right there. He brought the scriptures. He brought the scriptures back to John. So our job is not to appease the flesh by answering it. That's not our job. Our job is to answer people with the spirit and show them the truth of where the issue is. And it's up to us to figure out why certain things are happening a certain way. And it's because Jesus could see where the attack was coming from. It was coming from the flesh. And what did he do? He did just like Ehud does in the book of Judges. He stabbed the belly with the sword. John the Baptist was in his belly. The word made the dirt come out of the belly, meaning the flesh. This is what the story of Ehud is talking about. It says that Eglon was a very fat man. It's not trying to tell us this man had an eating problem. It's talking about this man's all in his flesh. That's how you know this is not a man of God sitting here. And then Ehud, the way he's described, he built his own two-edged sword. What the Bible tells us what a two-edged sword is, he girds it on his right side, but he's left-handed. Because God, when he judges righteously from the right side, but he does it with his left hand because that's his arm of judgment. And Christ is his right arm with the grace, love, and mercy of God. So what he did is he did exactly what Ehud did. He saw exactly where the problem was, and he put the sword in it. And that's how John was able to get his peace back, is because the truth was told to him when his flesh was the part of him that was lying and crying.
So, long story short, the seals have been opened and the scroll has been read.
I believe it. I mean, I see. I really do.
Yeah. So, other than that, what else is going on?
What's the topic today, Trot?
Well, we had what I did is we had some things written down, and I think Dre's in blue. Where's Dre at? 2 Kings 5, I think. Naaman. We're talking about Naaman.
From Luke 4.
Let me see.
Jesus mentioned Naaman and the widow in Luke 4, and they wanted to throw him off a cliff.
Yeah, they didn't like old Jesus, man. He wasn't as popular as people think.
Right?
He's popular to us, but he wasn't very popular, man. He would have been all over CNN.
I'm not very popular among people. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, guys. I'm not very popular right now among a lot of people now. Everybody mad at me, man.
Join the club.
And it's all because, and you know what? You know why they're mad at me? And sorry, I just need to let this out, man. I don't have nobody else to talk to. Everybody mad at me.
Who's mad? Who you talking about? Who's
no, man. I protested, and I coach. I'm just people around me in my life.
Oh, okay.
So, an event, Trot. All right.
Okay.
So, anyways, I coach my daughter's team, or I did. I stepped down because of all this. But the rules are rules, and you got to have your roster set. And we protested. Right. This girl had it was this national tournament, the big tournament in the season. And so I but after I protested the girl, man, all the parents from that other team, as me and my girls were walking to the dugout, they swarmed us. I was swearing like a bunch of demons in our faces, yelling and screaming and cussing. I mean, it was ridiculous. And a lot of them, and apparently the organization I was coaching for didn't like my move either. So I don't know, man. I don't understand it. I thought rules were rules. And then all of a sudden everybody.
And maybe I'm missing something. What's what was the protest exactly? What were you protesting?
Well, you can only have 11 girls or 12 girls on the roster. They had 12 plus another girl who wasn't on the roster, so they had 13. They had an illegal player. So, and I just following the rules, trying to keep it fair for my kids, right? So, I mean, it was like a bunch of demons came out of nowhere, man. Everybody was in the flesh for sure.
So they didn't
like
the fact. So they didn't like the fact that you were trying to uphold rules.
Exactly.
So then why is the rule there then?
Exactly.
I don't know. I asked the same question.
And was there a reason? Like, I know that, I mean, was there
under the bylaws,
special circumstance or something?
Well, this was we were the last four teams in the national tournament, and that they were playing, and this is when we come out on it when we saw it. And I mean, we didn't know. We just found out about it. They thought we were waiting until Saturday to call them out on it. I don't even know why I think that.
What does it matter?
So,
What does it matter? Well, my question is this: what does it matter how long you wait?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. If you get
It
called out,
doesn't.
you get called out.
As soon as we saw it, we called it out. That's it.
Well, let me say this. How many kids? Okay, Okay, did they allow the rule to play itself out, or did they tell you, no, we're going to allow this to happen? What was the conclusion of this?
Well, here's the funny part. The director, the coach said that the director of the tournament allowed it and knew about it, but the director told me he didn't. That's why it sounded like one thing you got to understand about all these youth travel tournaments and stuff. It's a cash grab. All they're worried about is money. So they don't care. They let people build last minute teams when they're supposed to be teams who've been together all season, according to the rules.
So my question is,
we did travel
just
ice
form out of
hockey
nowhere.
for 8 years. It makes my brain hurt.
It's insane.
So did they allow? So okay.
But
So did they allow?
I had parents call 2 a.m. in the morning, cussing me. I had parents say, "Meet me out in the parking lot. Next time I see you, you're mine." I mean, it's
God
unreal.
Almighty. They said, "Catch me outside." How about that? What they said?
I'm telling you,
they said, "Catch me outside." Well, let me ask you.
I said, "Good luck." That's all I said. Good luck.
Well, so did the kids that you protested, did they get to stay and play, or they got kicked off, or what? What's the conclusion of this? Or you don't know yet? Or what?
No, they had to forfeit. They all had to forfeit, and they had.
Okay. So
the tournament.
Okay, so y'all got to win. Oh, well, that's why they're mad. Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying they're justified to be mad, but
we weren't even playing them though at the time. Somebody else was.
It didn't matter because eventually y'all could have been playing them. So, the whole thing is.
It does.
Yeah. Now I always say this when it comes to.
The reason why.
Okay.
I had to follow the same rule though. I mean, because I needed one more pitcher because one of my pitchers couldn't go, and I couldn't pick up another girl because of the roster lock rule, which only allows 9 on your roster. Then you only add 3 pickup players, and I was full, so I followed the rule. That's one reason why I held them accountable because we had to follow it.
Yeah. Well, no, that makes sense, man.
I'd have been like,
when
bring
it
all
comes
14 girls. We still gonna whoop you.
Go.
Yeah, I ain't lying. It was like a swarm of locusts coming at me to torment me for 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, maybe they shouldn't have set their kids up for failure, and they wouldn't be so mad. It's not hard.
Man, I agree. I think that's why this nation right now is the way it is because of crap like that.
Yeah. Well, now don't get me wrong. In tournaments, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, right? It's the truth. It's all about who's gonna win, and any little groove that you can get into to get you to win. I get it. Trust me, I did it when I was young. I get it 100%. I played select baseball. I get it. But the sidetrack of that is
honestly, Trot, man,
all right, Ric Flair.
What?
I was just going to say, man, I didn't coach our girls like that, man. I preached Jesus Christ to my girls. We prayed after every game, and I taught them to work hard and to achieve their goals through working hard. Work hard at home, work hard at practice, study.
Well, no,
whatever you do in softball, you do in school, you do in life. I mean, I was just trying to teach kids.
What I'm saying is, yeah, I know.
And I had one girl who was just parents were just going through a divorce, man, and when we first got her a year ago, man, she was real timid and didn't know if she wanted to play. I hear her dad has struggled sometimes, but I mean, this kid's like that the Lord was bringing to me, man. So
let me finish what I was saying real quick. All I'm saying is this. It's all fun and games, right? Until people start getting upset. So yeah, it's true. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I get it. I was there. I've seen it. I've seen it played on both sides, by everybody. I don't care if it's one little thing that wasn't done perfect. It wasn't done perfect, and nothing is ever going to be done perfect when it comes to competition sports. Period. Never. But the problem, the biggest problem, is when the parents actually treat this as though it's their game. That's when it becomes a problem. And so it's not about the kids. It's about who gets to brag about whose team won. And so now there's certain parents that they invest either money or they go out of their way to get another kid on their team or whatever the case is. But there's kids that are not registered on there. They know they're breaking the rules, and they know at any second somebody can call them out. They know this. And then they're surprised when someone calls them out. And then now they have to forfeit. Here's the thing. If you weren't doing anything wrong, would you have to forfeit? Why do you got to forfeit if you're not doing anything wrong? So obviously they're doing something wrong. And my thing is always this. If you're going to cheat, I don't care if it's just a little bit. If you're going to cheat, you cannot get mad when you get caught. That's the whole point of cheating. If you're going to cheat, you can't get mad if you get caught. You don't blame somebody else because you cheated. That's not, that just don't make it. And that's the point I'm making. The rule of thumb is when it comes to competition sports, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But the other side of that is if you get caught cheating, you lick your own wounds. You don't go blame everybody else. So, that's all hypocritical. You shouldn't be cheating anyway. Cheating there's no matter of fact, if you're not good enough to do it without cheating, well, then you just can't do it. Just like here recently, there was these guys that were considered like largemouth bass champions, and they found out they were putting lead weights in the bass to make them weigh more. Boy, it drove everybody nuts. It drove them nuts, dude.
Well,
because
here's the
people
question,
are paying
though, Here's the question, though. When you talk about team sports, and obviously I got a kid in college now, but when you talk about team sports and these kids doing this stuff, the kids aren't really the ones cheating, though. It's the grown-ups. It's the coaches.
That's what I'm saying.
The coaching staff.
That's right.
Yeah, but
That's right.
here, let me make my point. The point is when they make a whole team forfeit, all that does is hurt the kid. The kid probably didn't even read the rules. So the problem is they should kick the coach out, ban him for a year. He can never coach again for at least a year. Sit his sorry tail down, and then put whoever the last girl on the roster was on there that's not supposed to be on there. You're out of here. Sorry, girl. That's not how it works. And let somebody else step up and coach the team so that the kids can still compete, because it's not the kid's fault. That's my personal philosophy.
Well, that's exactly what I just said. It's the parent that acts like it's their game. That's the whole point I'm saying. That the motive, the reason the cheating is happening, obviously the parent's the one doing the paperwork. I'm saying their motive in their head is, oh, we're going to win, and I want to go brag to everybody that our team win. It's the parents doing all of it. That's exactly that's what I'm saying.
I I'm just talking about the kids forfeiting. That's probably why some other parents were like threatening Brett. It wasn't necessarily.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
and
that's why
the kids, some of them were crying.
Some of these kids probably worked.
And I felt bad. I didn't know how to respond. I didn't know how to respond. It's my first year being a head coach. First time I ever had to experience anything like that. I didn't even understand the consequences of my actions at the time. Didn't even see it coming.
Being a coach in competition youth sports, it takes you got to be very, very consistent in my opinion. In everything that you do, and the kids see everything that you do. The kids know if you're a cheater too, like they know. But I had parents. My son one time we went to a specific neighborhood, a specific state, which I'm not going to name, but my son came out there, and I trained my kid, especially my son. I was hardest on him, obviously, because I can't. He has to be the worst. He has to get the worst of it. And one time he ran down the court, and we're talking about maybe like 11, 12 years old. He was already a little Nephilim. And he beat this boy's shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he beat the shot. He played basketball. Like, when I say beat, I mean like he smacked it so hard that he sent it all the way to the stands and just walked away. And the mother The mother of the kid who got his shot like destroyed ran down the court into my face. It was like, "Control your monkey. He's an animal," and told me just like that. And it took everything within me to not Latrell Sprewell that woman. You understand me? Because it's out of line, and they say anything to these kids. They're children. I see parents say all kinds of crazy stuff to these kids, man. And these parents are out of line, man. They're in their belly big time.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But you call my son an animal, a monkey, because he's a great basketball player? Man, listen, I almost lost my mind, boy. And that woman better thank God. That woman better thank God my wife wasn't there, because she would have gone in her belly. I'm telling you right now, it would have been belly time. She would have been belly dancing all over that place.
Well, hey, matter of fact, if your wife was there, that lady may not have ran down there like that. She probably just did it taking advantage that you're a guy, and she knows that you're more than likely you're not going to say or do anything to her.
She did probably
so?
wouldn't have
I've
known
seen it.
She probably wouldn't have known who, if my wife was there or not. You know, it was I don't know. But what I can tell you is, I told my son, I looked at him and I was like, "Go ahead and do it again."
Hey, you got to. You have to, bro. You have to.
I said,
you have
jump
to.
harder next time. Matter of fact, get a foul. Let me stop now.
God, matter of fact, get assaulted. Go to jail. God almighty. Man. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, so is the thing over? Who got first place, Brett?
We got second. And we got beat 4-1. We got beat 4-1 in the finals.
Well, I bet the whole league was rooting for you to get second that last game.
Well,
they didn't want you to get,
I felt bad when they were leaving. I heard the parents tell the kids, "Don't worry, they're going to get beat this game." That's what they told. That's what they were telling them. They'll be leaving behind us. It was, man. I don't know. I know it messed up a lot of friendships in town for some reason. So.
Yeah, well, I'm sure if you were to hear everybody explain their side of the story, because it's not always black and white, even though I wish everything was black and white, but it's not always. There's always gray areas, and one of the persons on the team could have been getting mentally abused from their family that lived in some other, state, and then they moved down here, so they allowed them to play because they were going through a hard time, and here comes mean old Brett and kicks this poor kid off the team. I mean, everybody got their own perspective, and the other perspective could be very simple. The family was lazy, didn't sign up the kid on time. We'll take her anyway because she's going to, or he, or whatever the gender is, we're going to make them, this person's going to make us win championships. And you're like, hey, how come the kid's not on the roster? Hey, y'all are out of here. I mean, it could be simple as that, but it's all based on perspective. So.
Well, I do know they picked up 5 kids like a week before the tournament, which is illegal in itself, but I didn't say nothing about that.
Well, okay, but so you already have. But here's my thing: how I remember, dude. I don't understand.
The director allowed it, man. It's his fault.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is his fault. If he don't want to uproar like that, then he better start doing the right thing. But if I were you, and I'll tell you what I would do. I would go to whoever the director is. I would find out who the director's boss is, and I would definitely make it known what happened. And I definitely would have said that I had death threats, and so there are rules being allowed that shouldn't be allowed. And then tell them to tell you straight up that if you don't, if y'all are okay with this, then let me know that. Now I know that the rules really don't matter. Let me know that. But if you're not okay with it, then let me know that you're not okay and you're glad I brought it to your attention. You just got to be straight up. Is this okay or not? And if they go, man, it's fine, just stay in your lane. Huh?
Well, honestly, Trot, a lot of people, I know I prayed to the Lord here a while back about separating me from all these people. How they speak in their body just drives me insane. And words they use. So, and I said separate me, and I think this is the Lord's way of separating me from all that crap, because we are completely separated from all that stuff now. Moving on
Yeah.
to a new team.
Yeah. Huh.
I truly believe it's the Lord cutting us off from all the bad people now that we don't need to be around. For sure.
Well. Yep. Hmm. Hopping into something you're not familiar with, I think it's on any level. You can kind of catch yourself in a way being like naturally, without being a Christian or whatever. You can kind of catch yourself being a redheaded stepchild because you're not, the person's not 100% sure like how they run this system, right? And so that's why a lot of people, and I meet them all the time. People from California move to Texas, and boy, they'll, not out of hate and anger, not out of anger, but they'll debate with you the laws in Texas. They're so used to laws in California, and you're like, and I'll just tell them, I don't think you understand. I really don't. Like, if you don't like the laws here, there's a right place and a right time to handle that. It's in the courts. And some of them will say, well, I'm going to take this to court. And, they come here because they like so much about Texas, and they don't realize that if they come down here and they change all the laws, they're going to create California again. They're actually creating what they ran from overall. And, of course, every state has things that will drive you nuts if you're not from that state. There are things that are different. But that's kind of how new people are looked at in any type of competition sport. If you're a new face, they don't know who you are. They already know there's a chance that you could rock the boat on some of the things, because they know what laws are being allowed to be broken, shouldn't be broken. And it's always the new people that come and ruin everything, right? That's what they'll say, and if it was that serious, then somebody should have sat down with you and said, hey, look, we're just going to be honest with you. This is what it says in the rule book, bro, but people do it all the time, and, try to get you to understand that's just how we do it. The rules are there for whatever reason, I guess, for suing purposes, like legal purposes, but obviously they don't care for that. So
the question is, Brett, did you try to add another player and they told you no?
Well, no. I needed to, but owner of our organization did all my rosters. I didn't do, and he said the roster lock rule would not allow us to add that other player. We were at our limit, so we didn't bring nobody else with us.
Oh, so he didn't
But
try.
the other team had 12 plus another one. Yeah. I mean, they just ignored the way I saw it. They ignored the rule and just brought her. But if I had to do it all over again, guys, I would not protest a girl for the watch those girls walk out crying.
Yeah, so
I would have done it.
Yeah, so that, well, again, that's, somebody should have, they should have said, hey, bro, let me lace you up, on this. You're going to see people that have people on their team that shouldn't be there. And it's been like this for 5 years or whatever it is. And nobody protested. And basically and so what they wanted you to do too is not bring it up to the people in charge. They just wanted you to bring the person. I mean, and that's, which that,
I mean, I would have,
yeah, they had a team to play. But it's like $800 a team. So
here's the thing: if I would have felt like some kind of way about it, honestly, I would have went straight to the coach and be like, "Hey, dog, like you cheating, right? Like you can't do that. Like you got to take this young lady off the roster, blah 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 blah." I would have just talked. I would have took it straight to him, like to his face. And that's another thing. Most people, I think, are, I don't know. Let me just shut my mouth. I'm gonna shut my mouth.
Yeah. No. When it comes
no, you're good, right?
No, not with you. I'm just saying in general. Like, I just think it's like I don't know, for some reason, like people don't like confront each other. Like I hate when even at like in different places that I've been at, or even in the military, like you'll see somebody like, oh, run to the gunny or something. Like, dog, why won't you just tell the sergeant directly? Like, talk to him, sergeant to sergeant. You want to run to the gunny because you scared to talk to buddy. You know what I'm saying? Not saying you were scared, but I see that a lot. Like, I just bring stuff straight to people's face. If I have a problem with you, man, I'm just gonna let you know what the issue is and try to resolve it.
Yeah,
Well, I
exactly,
think
man.
that's
I
the
agree.
key is how we try to resolve it, because how we try to resolve something is a example to whom we serve, and it ain't always going to work out. Like, it's not going to always work out in our favor. And so how you approach it is telling other people around you as well how we would approach something as a child of God, not as a person of flesh.
Yeah. So Brett, you didn't know the guy at all, the coach of the other team?
I know. I did not know him.
Yeah. See, and that's another thing. Like, you don't know them, you don't know how they're. I understand what you're saying, but I will say this overall, and I hate to say it, but if you don't like the rules, you probably shouldn't play.
I agree.
Man. I mean,
Right. That's right.
if the rules are you only can have so many people, and what's happening is obviously is there's so many people doing this, right? They're all together breaking the rules, and it doesn't matter if they get called out on it or not. It doesn't matter to them. We're all in agreement that it's okay. So it's kind of like, it's kind of weird, that. But hey, not every adult's going to be immature about things. So, them acting that way, they're over here mad at you because you're made their kids cry. Well, look how you're acting in front of your kids over a game.
Exactly. That's my point. Exactly.
Over a game, bro. Like, you want to unalive somebody over a game? Like, oh, man. Now, I will say this, well, no, I guess that don't even matter anymore because you said you're not doing it no more, right, Brett, or
Well,
what?
some of these kids, it's more than a game, though, Trot. Some of these kids,
No,
it's like,
I completely.
what I was saying is some of these games,
Well, I
for
had a
some
bunch of
people,
girls that I've coached for 2 years.
Hold on a second.
I assisted last year, and then I took over this year. And that's the thing that hurts most, man. I had at least probably 10 or 15 girls that I coached on 2 teams, and I got to know them, personal life, parents. They text me when they talk to us. I got one girl who comes on here and listens to us. That's the thing that hurts most out of all this was the relationship with the kids, and they were all we got placed in nationals last year, and we got second place this year, and we had some young kids too. So
I guess my point is, it is a game, but Brett, as you know, it's not necessarily a game. When you're talking about nationals, when you get to that elite level of playing, like, there's scouts out there watching. This is a kid's college tuition that's going to get paid. This is a future. So it's not
I
just like
agree.
it's not like a neighborhood, YMCA
Agree.
game. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you just, oh, it's a YMCA game. Nah, bro, this is not a YMCA game. This is a national game where there's seniors, there's people that are showcasing you. This is going to be an opportunity for
That's
them
a
to
good
get.
point.
Yeah, this is not just a game, guys. At that level,
Yeah, and
level that Brett's talking about, it's not a game.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I said it's all based on perspective. So there's people that are focused on rules. There's people that are focused on why the kid is even playing at all, and that could be many avenues. Whether it's, again, an abused child that's good at a sport, give them a chance, or what Dre brought up. They're good enough to to be seen by someone that could potentially take them to the next level. There's so many perspectives, but the problem is not anybody can see everybody's perspective. You just can't. You would drive yourself nuts if you tried to understand everybody's perspective in life, dude. It would drive you nuts. There's too many. There's people that were born without arms, or people that was born without legs. That's just one perspective in life. There's people that are born without stuff. There's people that had arms and legs and they were taken away by a shark. There's too many perspectives in life, period. And so here we are playing a sport with everybody having a bunch of different perspectives already. And then now we're supposed to read people's minds and know why people are breaking rules. I'm just saying. So, you know, if the rules are there and you don't abide by them, you can't get mad if somebody calls you out. The rules say this. How dare you bring up the rules? I mean, I could just hear the yelling, you know, even though I know that wasn't said, but that's what they're saying. What they're saying is, how dare you bring up the rules? It's like, oh, my bad. My bad. So these ain't real rules. They're fake rules. We got fake rules here. I mean, I get it, man. I can see both sides, but the parents really hurting the kids, man. You know,
it's
really.
It's 2023. You can change anything up, any rule you want, anytime you want.
It's all subjective.
The rules anymore matter, right?
Yeah, that's right. So, you know, matter of fact, cheating
matter.
is
Only your pronouns.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Cheating is the thing, right? I'm not any good at a sport, so I'm a woman now. I'm just gonna go beat all the women at the sports. That's not cheating, bro.
Right.
That's so cheating. That's so cheating. You're cheating, you know, and you're only cheating because your feelings are hurt because you're no good at them. So basically, everybody's appeasing to your feelings, and so you think that if you feel good, then that's right. So basically, cheating feels good. Well, yeah, it does, bro. It didn't take any hard work or any hard effort.
Waterboy. It makes me feel good.
Makes me feel good. Yeah, you know.
I don't think people feel good when they cheat. I really don't. They may act like it, but they don't.
Oh, no, they do at the moment. Oh, 100% they do.
It's the outcome
just like committing a crime. Yeah, just like you commit a crime. There's always going to be a self-indulgence moment. A gratified moment. Oh, it's there, but in order for it to get there, you first had to give yourself permission, which means you knew it was wrong before you did it because you had to give yourself permission. Like, well, I need this, I got to go buy this. So you give yourself permission and then the gratification of it takes place. But right after that comes remorse immediately. Sometimes it can take 5 minutes, an hour, the next day, but it's going to happen. And if you're not careful, you'll be doing things like this your whole life, chasing that 5 minutes of gratification. But in order to do that, you first have to lie to yourself, give yourself permission to do it. And it just becomes this crazy cycle, man. So yeah, no, Renee's 100% correct, because the remorse part, it's going to come. It's just that moment of, yeah, I got, an extra $5,000. I stole this from the convenience store. I'm sure it feels great.
It'll happen every time somebody congratulates you for the win. It'll happen.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wow, bro, you got $5,000. Let's go spend it. And you're like, you know what? I know how to make $5,000 real quick. I'm going to go rob this other convenience store. I mean, it's just, and before you know it, that will lead to something else. What time is it? 8:30.
Yeah, I got to run to a meeting, so I'll come back if I can.
Absolutely.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so we're talking.
The homeowners association is coming for you.
Oh, no. Hey, no, we got two of them. Renee's one of them, too.
That's what I said. Renee, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought you were talking about misunderstood.
No, she said she got a meeting she got to go to. She about to go fillet somebody.
Oh, she's about to go for. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're doing Naaman, 2 Kings, 5, I think 5, yeah. 2 Kings 5, yeah. That's what we're doing.
Man, I was muted. You said, what time is it? And I said, game time.
It's game time. No,
I did too, Mac. That's funny. I literally said the same thing.
What time is it? It's game time.
Well, it's game time unless you're playing Brett's team.
God! Oh.
Gone.
Oh, my God.
My Lord.
No mercy, no mercy.
No mercy, buddy. No mercy.
All
All
right.
right, who's reading?
CJ, of course.
Whoa.
I can
Where's
read.
Cliff?
It's
What
fine.
is this?
Yeah, that's Dre's. This is Dre's suggestion.
Well,
Oh
I've
yeah.
realized the last few days that I'm uneducated, so I can't read.
Oh, here we go.
There you go. Here you go. Yeah, there we go.
The angel brought me the book and I couldn't read it, so I can't read.
Hey, wait, one second. CJ, put that picture up that you was trying to get these guys to pay attention to.
Oh, hold on. What are we doing? Let me see. Hold on a second.
I gotta do some more editing in there, but
let me see.
It's pretty decent.
Walking palm trees, pretty cool.
Well,
I didn't.
And then they got transformed.
Nice. Yeah, I gotta do some editing here. But
transform the wisdom. Don't you want to keep the wisdom as it is? Because you're suggesting that the wisdom became, well, I don't know.
I'm talking about these lines here.
Nice. I didn't know you was a graphic designer.
I do a little bit. I dabble.
You dibble dabble?
All right, you ready for me, Trot?
I'm ready.
Yeah, buddy.
It says now Naaman.
Hold on real quick. Hold on a second. Hey, CJ, I told you not to create anything until I sent you something to look at, bro. You don't remember me saying that?
You showed us yesterday.
Bro, he's a worship pastor. They don't listen. Worship pastors don't listen. You know that?
Whoa.
That's a fact, Jack. I'm dead serious.
CJ.
Yo, Dre.
Hold on, let me make it clear here in front of everybody. Yep. Yesterday I said I'm gonna send it to you. I didn't say show you. I'm gonna send it.
That's true. You did
send it.
You did say that.
Send it. I'm gonna send it. So the one I showed is the same one I'm gonna send to you.
Right.
In other words, he just wants you to enhance it.
That's the one that needs to be.
Yeah.
He wants you to enhance it. He does not want you to change the complete. There you go.
I got you.
No, I just need what I send. What I'm sending you. I need it to fit the screen. No.
Gotcha. Lots of S's.
All right.
All right, Dre.
Yeah, lots of understanding.
All right.
CJ got two.
All right, send it.
CJ got two Chewbacca's in his logo.
Hey, my imagination's running wild right now with all these S's.
I see that.
All right.
All right, send it.
Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master, and honorable, because by him the Lord had given deliverance unto Syria. He was also a mighty man of valor, but he was a leper. And the Syrians had gone out by companies, and had brought away captive out of the land of Israel a little maid, and she waited on Naaman's wife. And she said unto her mistress, would God my Lord were with the prophet that is in Samaria, for he would recover him from his leprosy. And one, golly, hold on, let me lower my screen, bro. And one went in and told his Lord, saying, thus and thus, and the maid that is of the land of Israel. And the king of Syria said, Go, and will send a letter unto the king of Israel. And he departed and took him 10 talents of silver and 6,000 pieces of gold and 10 changes of raiment. And he brought the letter to the king of Israel, saying, Now, when this letter is to come unto thee, behold, I have therewith sent Naaman my servant to thee, that thou mayest recover him of his leprosy. And it came to pass, when the king of Israel read the letter, that he rent his clothes and said, I am God to kill and make alive, that this man doth send unto me to recover a man of leprosy. Wherefore consider, I pray you, and see how he seeketh a quarrel against me. And it was so, when Elijah, the man of God, had heard that the king of Israel had rent his clothes, that he sent the king to the king, saying, Wherefore hast rent thy clothes? Let him come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elijah said unto the messenger, sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall be again unto thee, and thou shalt be clean. But Naaman was wroth, and went away, and said, Behold, I thought he would surely come out to me, and stand, and call on the name of the Lord his God, and strike his hand over this place, and recover the leper. Are not Abana and Parfar, whatever rivers in Damascus better than all the rivers of Israel? May I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned away in rage. And his the servant, came near and spake unto him, and said, Father, if the prophet had bid thee to do some great thing, wouldst thou not have done it? How much rather then, when he saith to thee, Wash and be clean? Then went he down and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God, and his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. He returned to the man of God, he and all the company, and came and stood before him, and he said, Behold, now I know that there is no God in all the earth but in Israel. Now therefore I pray thee, take a blessing of thy servant. But he said unto the Lord, As the Lord liveth, behold whom I stand, I will receive none. And he urged him to take it, but he refused, just like pastors nowadays. And Naaman said, Shall there not then, I pray thee, be given to thy servants 2 mules burden of earth? For thy servant will henceforth offer neither burnt offering nor sacrifice unto other gods, but unto the Lord. In this thing the Lord pardon thy servant, that when my master goeth into the house of Rimmon to worship there, and he leaneth on my hand, and I bow myself in the house of Rimmon, when I bow myself in the house of Rimmon, the Lord pardon thy servant in this thing. And he said unto him, Go in peace. So he departed from him a little way. But Gehazi, the servant of Elijah, the man of God, said, Behold, my master hath spared Naaman the Syrian in not receiving at the hands that which he brought, but as the Lord liveth, I will return after him and take somewhat of him. So Gehazi followed Naaman, and when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down from the chariot to meet him, and he said, Is all well? And he said, All is well. My master has sent me, saying, Behold, even now there be come to me from Mount Ephraim 2 young men, the sons of the prophets. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver, 2 changes of garment. And Naaman said, Be content, take 2 talents. And he urged him, and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags, and 2 changes of garments, and laid them upon 2 of his servants, and they bear them before him. And now it came to the tower, and he took from their hand, and bestowed them in the house, and he let the men go, and they departed. But he went in and stood before his master, and Elijah said unto him, Whence cometh thou, Gehazi? And he said, Thy servant went no whither. And he said unto him, Went not mine heart with thee, when the man turned again from the chariot to meet thee? Oh my goodness. Is it a time to receive money and go receive garments and olive yards and vineyards and sheep and oxen and manservant and maidservants? The leprosy therefore of Naaman shall cleave unto thee and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence as a leper white as snow. That's wild.
Well, so what you got, bro? What you got?
Well, the thing that caught me because when we started talking about the servant, right? So I've read this story a bunch of times, and the way that I interpreted it, obviously, I didn't really see the servant, but now I go back and I see that the servant was the one that urged. So there's two servants. There's the wicked servant, and then there's the faithful noble servant, right? So the servant that told Naaman, like, hey, why don't you go ahead and do that, and gave him wisdom, and he did it because he obeyed his servant. He was healed of his leprosy. And then the other one the servant that didn't obey the master, he ended up being accursed for not following instructions. CJ, but
go.
Just messing with him.
Whoa.
CJ's like, whoa.
But no, it's the servant is right there is the one that I saw. And then 7, there's obviously significance in 7. He bathed in the Jordan River, and it was the goodness of God and the obedience to wisdom that allowed him to see that there is no other God but the God that is in Israel. So those are the things that I saw, like, off top.
Good overview.
Yeah. So
what was that? 1 Kings 5.
2
1
Kings 5.
2.
Second Kings 2.
Oh. Well,
he's searching through First Kings this whole time. Like, where?
I was reading 1 Kings 5 about. Well, no, I just got my Bible, and I was talking about Hiram as well, but it's talking about building a house for the Lord.
Yeah. No, we were in 2 Kings 5. We were talking about Naaman. That's where we're at. So,
Naaman.
Yeah, Naaman. Yeah. So who was it that got healed from leper? Where's the verse?
It was Naaman.
Prove it. Where's the verse?
It says Elisha sent the messenger to him saying, go wash the flesh 7 times. But Naaman was brought and went away, blah, 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 blah. And then his servants came near and said unto him, and it says, then he went down and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan. And according to the saying of the man of God, and his flesh was like a flesh of a little child, and he was clean.
All right.
Verse 14.
So Naaman had leprosy and was cleansed, right? That's what happened, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So the Old Testament, when you are looking for Christ in the Old Testament, there are certain things, there are certain like titles or subjects that will pop out at you. And this is with all the other understanding that you have, right? With all the understanding that you already have, you'll have certain titles and subjects pop out at you. And there's people where these things have not been popped out at yet. There's people that will argue about these 15 like there's people that will argue about certain topics, and it has not been pointed out to them in the Old Testament the things that will like help them stop arguing about it, right? Because they're stuck in the New Testament arguing like if people that they're arguing with don't have a Bible. I told this to a dude the other day. He's like, well, I'm gonna bring some scriptures up to you. I was like, bro, I have a Bible. What do you mean? Like, when you tell someone, oh, let me bring up this scripture, you're actually showing that you think you're missing scripture. Because if not, why are you bringing up scripture? So the black letters on the white page is not the only thing we have. We have a spirit also, but none of us in America, for the most part, stop talking to people like they're missing books or missing scriptures. 99% of the time, the issue is how it's translated, how it's interpreted. Not hold on. Maybe you missed the scripture right here. No, bro. No. Most people didn't miss the scripture. Okay, I promise. And this guy's like, well, let me show you some scripture. I'm like, oh my gosh. It makes no sense to have all the scripture, but you have no revelation, man. You have all the scripture, you have all the black letters on a white page right here in front of you, but you have no revelation. And you're arguing about it.
Well, hey, so in 2 Kings 5:14 down and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God, his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. Jesus actually brings this up in Luke 4:27, right? In Luke 4:27, Jesus speaking. He says, and many lepers were in Israel in the time of Elijah the prophet. None of them were cleansed except Naaman the Syrian.
Yep, and it's because he listened to the servant.
Okay, so what does Jesus say about Naaman?
It says that many lepers were in Israel in the time
Well,
of
let's read. Let's get more context in Luke.
No. Real quick. Just read the part you just said.
Yeah, start at verse 23.
Verse 23. It says, and he said unto them, ye will surely say unto me this proverb, physician, heal thyself. Whosoever we have heard done in Capernaum, do also here in thy country. To them, verily I say unto you, no prophet is accepted in his own country. But I tell you the truth, and many widows were in Israel in the days of Elias, when the heaven was shut up there 3 years and 6 months, and a great famine was throughout all the land. But unto none of them was Elias sent, save to Sarepta, something like that, the city of Sidon, unto the woman that was a widow. And many lepers were in Israel in the time of Elias the prophet. It says, and none of them were cleansed, saving Naaman the.
Hold on.
And then in verse 28 it says, and all they in the synagogue, when they heard these things, were filled with wrath.
Hold on a second.
Wasn't somebody else filled with wrath in 2 Kings 5 as well?
Yeah, it was Naaman.
Naaman was with wrath, just like the everybody in the synagogues was filled with wrath as well, right?
Yeah. Naaman obeyed and listened to the voice of the servant, and the servant is faith. In the New Testament, when Jesus preaches about faith, he talks about the servant because he is the servant, he is faith. So Naaman was the one that actually listened to faith, listened to the servant, and dipped himself 7 times, and then he became healed. And then it says that his flesh became like that of a baby. So there was a restoration, his salvation, from listening to faith. And then he recognizes, after listening to the servant, that there is no other God except the God of Israel. And then he goes on to even, ask for forgiveness for the false gods that they serve in Syria. Uh-oh. The real Trot must be raising HE double hockey sticks out there.
Dre.
Yes, ma'am.
Has Trot spoke on Hebrews as of yet?
No, not yet.
We're still going through Naaman.
Okay, thank you very much.
So I guess while he's doing whatever the heck he's doing, so something that pops out to me is the very end when it's talking about, is it time to bring money, or the olive tree, or that part.
Yeah, that part. And then the 2 bags. There's 2 talents, 2 bags, 2 change of clothing.
Change of clothing, yeah. That I was reading through Matthew yesterday, and when John is talking about when the Pharisees come to be baptized, and he calls them bird of vipers. He has a gird of raiment, or however it words it. It's the same word that it uses there. Thought that was interesting.
How old's your baby, CJ?
He is 16 months, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's still a good age. They're not too they can't move around too much yet.
Yeah, well, I guess he might be.
I like that 2.5 to 3-year-old stage. That was my favorite so
He's
far.
not walking, CJ?
Yeah, he's walking. I
Oh,
guess
Oh
he's
no,
a little
yeah.
older.
Never mind.
yeah,
I take that
16
back then.
months.
Yeah.
Well, let me take.
That's when they become trouble right there when they get to walk. That age that Max likes, nah, I'm good on that age.
I like when they turn 23 and they're out the house. That's the best.
23, my goodness, what did your kids
Mine
not
left
go to
at
school?
17.
I
Mine
like
moved
when they're
out
out
at
the league.
17, 2 weeks after she graduated high school. She's in college in LA.
Yeah, that's what my kids
That's
did. All
good.
my kids, as soon as they graduated high school, they went to college, boy. They out of here.
Yeah,
Okay? The
that's
other
what
two
you
I'm trying
think.
to get rid of.
23.
My
You know what it is? Puerto Rican daddies, they don't want their kids to go nowhere. They want them to live with them forever.
no, it's the mamas, bro.
It's the
It's the
mom.
Ooh,
mamas.
You can't do nothing about that.
yes, we can. Bye.
No, the
Um,
men can't. Yeah, yeah,
No,
they
the
oh,
can.
man can't. We can't say a word.
He's
He
cracking
knows.
up.
He knows. I'm gonna be the same way. I'm gonna go to mama.
is he speaking yet, CJ?
No, no. He says like dada and good girl. He says good girl to Nova, our dog.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he's getting there.
Oh, that's funny. Good girl.
You should buy him some.
So,
You should give him some sight words, CJ,
Yeah, that's a good
with
idea.
the flashcards. Yeah.
CJ, did you
Yeah.
allow him to pick his gender?
Yeah, when he was born,
Oh, okay.
like kind of how he chose to be born.
Right.
He's silly.
Is this somebody's dog running across the floor or somebody typing?
That's me
Somebody's
typing.
Typing.
Oh.
Well, he types
So
like a
I.
secretary. He types like a secretary.
Yeah.
So Dre, what about this two changes of garment that in 2 Kings 5:22?
The old and the new?
I'm not really sure.
That's a
That's what
good
I'm trying to
question.
Well,
pick Trot's
man,
brain on that because I'm not really
man,
sure why he
let
asked
me tell you
for.
what I'm seeing.
Two wineskins?
I'm seeing this as possibly the two witnesses to an extent. We also see maybe the parable of the talents that Jesus spoke of, verse 23.
Hmm.
In verse 24, we also see about how a journeyman travels to a far distance. Verse 24, I think. I mean, I'm just seeing a lot of what Jesus said, just at first glance.
Yeah, I mean, there's two of everything in the Bible, so it's not a coincidence that they use a number two, like two garments, two talents. You got to remember, like we even went over the parable of the talents. There was different talents. Like people did the right thing with the talent, and people did wrong things with the talent. The clothing is the Mac just said. There's the new wineskins. There's the old wineskins. There's new wine. There's old wine. There's a new person. The old person. So to me, that's where I see it going, and that's how I interpreted it. It's not. I don't think it's a coincidence. And there's two servants in that.
So
In
why?
that.
Yes,
You got it.
yes. But why was Elisha mad because he let them go? I don't understand that yet.
Oh, because I think they were the enemies of the
Right in
people
verse
of Israel.
26 and 27.
They were the enemies. The Syrians were not
The
friends
ones they
to.
let go.
Yeah. So they weren't friends.
But
That's the whole thing. They
okay,
weren't.
so why did Elijah let him go though? Does it say?
I think he just obeyed the servant. You know, when you obey the servant, then that's where wisdom is. You know, and remember, it was a bondwoman, a slave woman that was from Israel, that mentioned to them that there was a prophet basically in Israel that would bring healing over Naaman.
Well, Jesus is the good servant, right?
Yeah, Jesus is the good servant, no doubt.
What I miss?
A lot.
We're just discussing 2 Kings 5.
Yeah. So the two garments.
We already did it, so it's over.
Oh, really?
We're done.
Yep, you missed out on all the understanding. Sorry.
Yep. Sorry.
Oh, so
it's recorded. Go back and watch the recording.
So are y'all sure there's nothing left?
No, there definitely is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, what about verse 14 when he says, and his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. It just means his flesh was healed of leprosy, maybe back towards original state.
Well, that's obvious, but it's a spiritual connotation to that as well.
Yeah, y'all just let me know when you break that down. I was trying to earlier, but y'all interrupted me.
No, you interrupted yourself, sir. Your dog did, and you ran off.
Oh, that's what I was asking you, Trot.
All right, so like I was saying, there's a lot of topics that people talk about that they have a lot of scripture, and they think that's how they're supposed to back up what they believe with scripture, right? Because we're told you have to back it up with scripture. Like if the Spirit has no play at all, right? That's why Jesus told the scribes and the Pharisees, you search scripture looking for life. He literally said there's no life in scripture the way you think. He's literally saying it. He said, and it can test of me because he is the life. So arguing about Trinity, oneness, water baptism, once saved, always saved, the book of Daniel, the book of Ezekiel, book of Revelation, these relationship killer topics. It's not about scripture the way you think. It's not about having all the right black letters on a white page. There's so much more that goes into this that makes it so simple you won't even want to argue anymore. I'm saying all that right now for a reason, because this is one of those stories that will help you stop arguing. It'll help. It may not happen immediately, but it'll help. So let's go over the waters, the rivers that Naaman wanted to go dip himself into. Where are they at?
Goodness, a stupid mute button. Sorry.
Yeah. He's like,
I'm losing it, man. I keep touching it. It's not working. He wanted to go back to his rivers and his country to bathe because they were nicer.
Okay, but where was he told to go?
He was told to go to the Jordan.
Right, he's told to go to the Jordan. Who told him to go there?
Elisha.
Who is Elisha?
Prophet of the Lord.
A prophet of God. So the prophet of God knew what water would cleanse him, but he didn't recognize those waters. No?
Right. No, I
don't see it.
Yeah, no, I see it.
Okay.
I see it.
So he said, so go to where he's talking about his waters.
It says, and Naaman went, it says, travel with distance, God's the man of God. He says, and then he says, Master said to you, too young. No, I went too far. My bad. Hold on. Wash yourself in the Jordan River and be restored. And he got angry and he thought that he would come out and do the hocus pocus.
What verse are you at?
12.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Are not Abana and Parpar? That's how you say that? Parpar?
Sure.
The rivers of Damascus better than all the waters of Israel.
Yeah.
Could not
One
wash
of
it
those
and be cleansed.
Yeah, one of those rivers means to go up and go down. Is it a coincidence that one of the rivers means going to and fro? That's what one of the rivers means. I just don't remember which one. But he says, hold on, my
bad. I'm on the concordance. I could just figure out which one exactly.
Okay, well, I don't know which one it is.
I got you.
Okay, but it says all right, but it says, are not Abana and Pharpar, rivers of Damascus, better than all the rivers of Israel? So he says that these waters are better than all the rivers of Israel. Who's Israel?
Jesus.
And Jesus said, the water that I give you.
Yep.
You'll never thirst again. Believers out of me, Israel, out of their belly will flow rivers of living water. The rivers, plural, are the 4 rivers in Eden. Those are the 4 rivers. Those are the rivers, the pluralness. There's more than one.
Hey, Trot, says, are you saying that both the rivers, like when it says Abana and Parfar, one of them means flowing through and the other one means swift? So flowing through and swift?
No, it's been such a long time. I remember either one of them or both of them meaning like to and fro or something, man. It's been a while. So let's just go with what we got right now. Give me the 2 names again.
Abana and Parfar.
No, in English. What do they mean in English again?
Oh. Okay, so one of them, the one. Let me go back here. This one, which is Abana, it says river flowing through Damascus, and then when you go to like the root word, it means stony.
Stoning. Okay, I could have got confused. Okay, so that one means stoning. What does Pharpar mean?
I'm gonna go back. That one meant swift, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna double check. H56554. It means swift.
Yeah. Swift and stoning.
The root word of that is like break, make, void, defeat, disappoint, frustrate.
Defeating. Yeah, no, that's. Yeah, I'm talking about some other rivers. It doesn't matter. It's not like we're not going to look them up anyway. But either way, stoning and break, is that the 2 pretty much? Or defeat, stoning and defeat?
So is stony is Abana, stony, and the other one is break in pieces. Yeah. So like the stone in pieces.
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, it's always good to look them up. But either way. Okay. So he says, are not Abana and Pharpar rivers and Damascus better than all the waters of Israel? And he says, may I not wash in them and be clean? Was that a physical or spiritual water that he's saying is going to clean him?
Physical.
He's thinking physical.
So he doesn't recognize what the prophet is telling him to do. We all know that he went to a physical water, but what was the name of the river that he was told to go to?
Jordan.
Do we not remember?
Stoning. Didn't you say stoning?
No, Jordan.
No, we're talking about Jordan. And the Jordan River, what happened? What's the significance of the Jordan River?
That's where Jesus was baptized.
Well, that's one part, but
they crossed the Jordan.
Nothing else? There you go.
Yeah.
They crossed the Jordan. When the priests held the ark, and as soon as their feet touched the water split with the ark. So it was a rod, which is Christ, that parted the first water. And then now this is the heart of God, the Ark of the Covenant, that parted the water. But they crossed the river. Jesus was baptized there. Everybody's being baptized. Where was John the Baptist baptizing people?
The Jordan.
Hold on.
That's why Jordan is the GOAT.
That's right. That's exactly right. Matter of fact, that was the whole purpose of this topic. We will see y'all in the morning.
Man, I want to go. I want to go to the Jordan River and get baptized.
Oh, we've already been baptized in the Jordan, Bubba. You've been saved. So,
I think.
So with that being said, if you don't see the spiritual symbolism here,
Hold on. So I looked up Jordan, and one of the meanings of Jordan, like the River Jordan, it says to come down of revelation.
Oh yeah, my friend, Jordan is definitely revelation. And so when you have been baptized in the Word, the water, the Spirit, that's when you get revelation. And so you're going to sit here and tell me that it's a coincidence that this man did not recognize the waters to be clean. Number one, the waters that they're talking about. This is a spiritual inclination here. He doesn't understand what he's being told to do. So he's like, what do you mean? I got better water over here. So is he telling the truth? Is he telling the truth? Or is this about, no, you need to listen to the prophet. It's about obedience. That's what this is about? Obedience? You missed it again. Stop allowing your carnal mind to see good, bad, obedience, disobedience. That's not what's happening here. He's being told there's only one way to clean you, my friend. There's only one way. I understand you see 1,000 ways. There's only one way to clean you, and that's from the waters of Israel, who is Christ, God, the water of God, the living water. That's the only way you get cleansed. And let's go read to where he finally listens. What happens?
When he finally listens, it says, verse 12, 13, the Naaman's servant, the servant told him, and then he said, he went down, this is verse 14, so he went down and dipped himself in the Jordan 7 times, as the man of God had told him, and his flesh was restored and became clean like that of a young boy. Yeah, okay, so a while ago, Brett brought up where Jesus talks about it. So what was Jesus saying about this? He said he said there was plenty of lepers. It's verse 27. It says, listen. Did Jesus say Naaman got cleansed or not? Yeah, he said Naaman got cleansed. Are you sure? He's the only one. Yeah. There you go. He's the only one. He's the only one that got cleansed. and what does it say in 14? His flesh came again, a flesh of a little child. How are we supposed to come to the Lord? Like a little child. And what part of you is the child? What part of you is the child? What part of you? Our spirit. How do you know that? Because of our heart, our nature.
Reborn. Reborn.
No. If the answer is spirit, how do you know that it's your spirit that comes to him like a little child? Prove it. Prove it. Don't guess. How do we know it's your spirit that comes to him like a little child, if that's true? Can you come to him like a little child as a grown man?
No.
Yeah, you sure can.
Yeah.
Well, if you do, where?
Wait. So you're talking about how we act, how we react towards when we accept it?
No. I said, how do we come to the Lord as a child? How?
In spirit and in truth.
How? How do you come to him as a child in spirit?
Born again. You have to be reborn.
Oh, faith,
yes,
people, faith,
you have to be born again. You have to be born again. You have to be born again. That's how. You cannot come to him as a child unless you've been born again as a spiritual child. So you're saying it's a coincidence that when Naaman dipped himself 7 times, which is the perfect number of Christ, he's in the living water, and now all of a sudden he's explained to be as a child now, meaning born again. So here, just in this story, was it the physical water that made him a little child, or was it the living waters of Israel?
The waters of Israel, Jesus Christ.
That's why I don't argue about baptism. It's not about scripture, the way you think. You don't get saved by water. You get saved by the living water through Israel, who is Jesus. But when you don't know these things, you argue like a fool about water baptism. because you have a bunch of black letters and white page scriptures arguing like physical children, not spiritual children. We come to him as spiritual children.
Say it with boldness.
Dre wanted to talk about Naaman, not me.
I love it. I knew where it was going to go.
It's good.
With a spiritual.
Oh, if you knew it was going to go there, y'all had 30 minutes to talk about it while I was out there trying to calm Trot down.
Oh no, trust me. Well, I knew it had something to do with where you're going with it. I may not have had the complete understanding, but I knew.
He gives it to you in a way that you'd have to lie to yourself that this is not what's happening. He called this, Naaman says that his waters are better than all of Israel waters. He was told to go to Jordan. If you don't understand the significance of the river Jordan, if you don't understand that John the Baptist baptized people there in the Jordan, why? Because it's Israel's water. And Israel is the physical promised land. And Jesus is the spiritual one, which is Eden.
Renee wants
we become, and again, it's a coincidence that he just became like a little child. And all you're focused on is, well, he had lepersy and he was healed. The healing starts in our spirit. That's why everybody's going to these gatherings trying to force people to become physically healed, because you're not seeing that that's not the greater thing. Jesus said the greater things shall you do. Greater. Healing somebody's physical flesh is not greater than them become spiritually alive and born again. Are you kidding me? Greater things shall you do. That doesn't mean you're going to heal more physical people. Are you serious? This is not a debate over whether or not physical bodies can be healed. It's about which is greater.
Yeah, the carnal mind believes that the physical water is more beautiful than the spiritual water.
Yes, and that's why people argue about water baptism.
Yeah, because it's more tangible to them, Trot.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it's more appeasing to the flesh.
It's more real appeasing. To them. The physical is more real than the spiritual, and that's a problem. The spiritual should be more real to you than the physical.
These were waters are the spiritual waters. Jesus Christ.
Uh-oh. Jesse's actually taking notes.
Oh man,
I know you about to be in Blackouts Live later today. Like,
no, I told them
Blackout. No, I think she might take a break because she was up all night.
I was not up all night, bro, man. Are you my husband? Do you next to me to know whether I'm up all night or not?
Are you my husband?
I left at 2 o'clock this morning.
I left at 2 o'clock in the morning. I left that live.
Yes,
I left you there, and I told you to go to bed.
And we were done. We did go to bed. You told me to go. You know, I'm going to mute. You're not going to get me in my.
Hey, Trot, I want to hop down. Renee's wanting to talk about Naaman. Let Renee must.
Well, somebody's going to have to get down. What's up, Jessica? What's going on?
Well, I would have gotten down.
It's an open space, Trot.
I can jump down. I had received
it's
a phone
open
call
spot.
As soon as I went up. But I'll jump down so that somebody else can go up.
I don't know. Somebody
open spot. You don't have to leave.
Jump down. Jessica, you're good. Brent jumped.
Okay.
He fell off the cliff.
Okay.
Oh, just like the fallen
ship.
Oh, no. Good morning.
All billion.
Where's Flip?
How many billions and billions?
I didn't see Flip. Flip was in here?
Yeah, he was.
No, you never let him up, bro.
He was at the beginning.
You can bring him up. I only need a minute. I got to go back to work. I may have missed it. Trot, did you cover who Naaman is as a person, as a people?
Right now, we were talking about Naaman 5. So, I mean, I'm sure we can. We got 45 minutes. I mean, we could talk about the entirety of Naaman. Is that what you want to do or something, or what?
No, what I was referring to is that, so I caught the baptism part, so fully agree with you, is that also embedded in this story, which is what gets brought up in Luke as well, is that he's a pagan.
Yeah, he's a pagan king.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a Gentile. He's a Gentile, right? So just like the widow. So that's kind of the other. So I didn't know if you kind of covered too who he is as a people.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't go through his who he is as a person. I was kind of focused on the truth of what was happening through his healing.
I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I just usually I kind of bring this up as well, only because this is where again people, whether it's Hebrew Israelite or Torah followers or whatever, is that they were never going to be able to follow all of the rules, right? So even more so that this is spiritual and not physical or a checklist, because that's why he took dirt back with him, right? But they'll never be able to go to a feast or sacrifice in the way that the Israelites were or follow all of these, 613 laws. Yet he was able to come to God as a child.
Yeah, right. And there's only one way to do that today.
There's only one way to do that. That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, sorry, I just didn't want to leave that off because I think it's a really important point that gets missed and why they were so mad when Jesus brought this up in Luke 4.
Yeah, well, we weren't talking about Luke 4, so that...
My bad.
Talking about...
I kind of missed some of it, so that's why I just wanted to...
Yeah, no, you're good. No, yesterday, just so you know, Dre said he wanted to talk about 2 Kings 5. So that's the verse that was brought up.
Got it.
It doesn't mean we can't go to all the other verses. I just try to focus on what the context of what, like, in its totality of what's really taking place in the story itself. But yeah, no, I mean,
Roger that.
Yeah.
No, it totally makes sense. Okay, I'll drop back down so somebody can come up.
Good. You're good.
Hey, Trot. And it says when you read through the story, it says in verse 17, I believe it is. Is it 17? No, 18. 18. It says, "But now may the Lord forgive your servant for one thing, that the master enters into the temple of Rimmon to bow down and lean." It's funny that word Rimmon actually means tree, pomegranate tree. So it's the wrong tree.
Yeah. Hey, I got a phone call when you were, where were you? Where were you starting to read at?
18.
18?
Yeah, when he says forgive his servant, forgive him, he says, he says, when I bow down in the temple of Rimmon means pomegranate tree. So it's the reference to the tree is what I'm getting to, the wrong tree.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Tree leaneth my hand.
Now, did you notice something, though? If you keep reading the story and you march down to verse 27, therefore the leprosy of Naaman shall cling to you and your descendants forever. So he was washed clean, but someone else received his condena. ¿Cómo se dice eso en inglés? His whatever, his punishment or whatever. No,
healing.
His curse. His curse.
Someone else received his curse. There's two in the Bible, right? Isn't that what Trot's always telling us? There's the good and there's the evil. There's the two trees, the to this, to that. So someone was cleaned, but someone else received the curse.
Yeah, but he received the curse for disobedience, though.
Exactly, but he received
shadow of Christ. Exactly. It was for disobedience.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's a few people waiting to come up. So if if you're next in line, just be patient. Taylor, what's going on, man?
How we doing? I just got out of
doing amazing. What's on your mind? Taylor? Okay, never mind. he came in to hit mute.
Sorry. No, I just got out.
You're good, man. What did he say? I just got to PT?
No, just got out. Just got out of PT.
Oh.
That's why I'm...
What are you calling PT?
Physical therapy.
What are you calling PT? Physical training? Oh, the other
physical
PT.
Therapy.
Physical therapy.
Yeah, physical therapy.
Yep.
Yeah. Doug, what's going on, Doug? Dougie Fresh. No?
Had to turn off the fan. Sorry.
Oh, you're good, man. What's going on? How you doing?
Hey, yeah, man. When I was talking about the rivers, the apparently those two rivers were like really clean, and the Jordan's dirty. And he says, they want to see with their clear carnal eyes. That's all they can see. They can't see past that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and on, man. On and on through the Bible, this is happening. But just remember, we're all in this together, man. And I think people forget that. I think people forget we're all in this. We're all in this together. And there's nothing wrong with us learning who we are and actually seeing the lie of what we've been told that we are for such a long time. And then we start coming to an understanding and a truth based on something that's truly not easily seen. And so, everybody has to start somewhere. So, it's just good to start, just to start somewhere. Like, golly, start to see in some place. It doesn't matter where it is. And then from there it'll grow, just like I was talking about the gentleman earlier. He pops in here to our live, and, I know that he's, the guy's got a family. I mean, he goes to work. He's got a regular day just like anybody else. And today they were having Bible study, and he said there were some people really upset with him because basically, let's just say this: if 2 Kings 5 was brought up, then I guarantee you they would have got a little upset with him because, and the way they see this is this has nothing to do with spiritual, right? So remember when God says that he's the father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying that he's not a father of the dead, saying that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are not considered dead. But if you were to ask people today, is Isaac, are these people considered dead? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, are they considered dead? People would say, well, yeah, they died. So then you say that and you go in the story reading, and God says that I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So then what you hear is God's like, hey, you don't remember the dead people? Oh, you're that God of the dead people that were back there. And what's funny is that's not that's not how God is seeing it. He doesn't see himself talking about people who are dead. He's talking about people who are alive that we hear about. That's what he's saying. But to the carnal mind, hey, stupid, I'm the guy. I'm the God, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. I'm that guy. Oh yeah, that's how people are reading it. Like if God is trying to remind them of the dead people that he's the God of.
Yeah.
And not actually seeing it as God saying, because listen, if we go back and read that and God's speaking and he says, I'm the father or God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, it's still present. Don't you understand? It's present. When you read that, it is present because Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are alive. Don't you understand? It's present to us. The living waters that we just read, it's present. So when you're reading this, goes, that was 2,000 years ago. It's present. You're not understanding. You're not understanding God is the problem. This is present. Yes, in this world, those stories are 2,000 years old, or well, now 4,000 or 5,000 years old, whatever. But yes, but the Bible makes it clear that we're in this world, but we're not of this world. We're from a living world. These people are alive. They're not dead. Joseph is alive. Joseph's not dead. But in this world, he's called sleeping. Everyone's sleeping in this world. Do you understand? Sleeping because you can't talk to them or communicate. That's what sleeping is referring to. You can't talk to them. You can't communicate. But they're alive.
That's why Jesus, with the story of Lazarus and the little girl, makes that clear.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that make this clear.
Yeah.
But that's why it says from faith to faith, because every second of the day you have to remind yourself all these people are alive through God. God's not naming dead people. And that needs to get across your head. He's not talking about dead people. He's a God of the living. Therefore, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are alive. Everybody that we're reading about, they're alive. Naaman is alive. That's why Jesus even brings it up in the Old Testament. He's the only one that got cleaned. Imagine that. Oh, he's the only one that got cleaned, man. Which one? Oh, the one that was baptized in the living waters.
Not only was the only one that got
those
clean,
that get baptized in the living.
Not only was Jesus the only one that got
Do
clean,
what?
he was the only one. Not only was Jesus the only one that got clean, he was the only one that can carry the load. Nobody else could do it. Only him. But for some reason, they think that they need to get baptized and they have to carry the load.
Okay, but see, the reason that this is an argument, the whole reason,
they don't understand this.
The
they
water
don't understand this.
Well, what I'm saying is the reason that water baptism is an argument is because when Israel's water was physically being used, okay, to baptize people, Israel's water.
I'm writing it down.
It was a representation of something to come, which was a spiritual baptism, okay? And so when this guy, this Naaman, before the New Testament, it was still Israel's water. Israel's water that did the cleansing. If it was just about physical baptism, they could just be physically baptized anywhere. Now that we've been spiritually baptized, people are like, well, they'll try to like point out areas where that people were being baptized and were being saved. You have to look at spiritual context. The truth is, when this all started, there were 4 rivers that came out of Eden. And those are the rivers, my friend. Those are the rivers that cleanses those. And if you can't understand that those are spiritual waters, then you're missing it. And so now what do? You go and find black letters on the white page because you want to argue the truth to death. You can't argue that. This story in Naaman is only one, and I'm not going to go over all the other ones because I don't even like talking about it because it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It's laughable, the arguments people come up with. If you can, and that's why they can't see what this means. Most of them people that say you have to be baptized by physical water, majority of them will not be able to see what this means. You might get a few because there are people that believe that, but they're still saved. They spiritually are saved, and they'll come into agreement. But the majority of them, you bring this up, you good luck. Make sure I'm not there, please. I'd rather go edify somebody than sit there and argue with the foolish argument. But
I got a question for you.
What?
Verse 17, where it says, Naaman said, Shall there not then, I pray thee, be given to thy servant 2 mules, burden of the earth?
Hold on a second. You said 17?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Naaman said, Shall there not then, I pray thee, be given to thy servant 2 mules, burden of earth, for thy servant will hence offer neither. Okay, what about it?
What is burden of earth?
So let's go. Hold on. Let me see.
Does that just mean people? Does that just mean man on top of them? Let your servant be given to you, Lord.
Let me go to...
Earth is people, isn't it? Doesn't earth represent people in the Bible? In the scriptures?
Depending on the context.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, 18. He says, "In this thing the Lord pardoned thy servant." Yeah. So, yeah, Naaman said, "Shall there not then..." Okay, so where is 14? Okay, so right here, this is, okay, so he dipped himself, he became like a child. It says, "And he returned to the man of God, he and all his company, and came and stood before him. And he said, Behold, now I know that there is no God in all the earth but Israel." Okay, so now he's claiming that God is in Israel. That's what he's claiming at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now how is he able to claim that unless he comes like a child, right? That's true today, right? That's true today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he says, "Now I know that there is no God," Rashi says, "in all the earth, but in Israel. Now therefore, I pray thee, take a blessing of thy servant." But he said, "As the Lord liveth, before whom I stand, I will receive none." And he urged him to take it, but he refused. Okay, so because this man understands how to be carnally minded, that means he understands like earning, right? Mm-hmm. He understands that if you receive something for someone, you have to pay for it.
Mm.
But isn't the gospel a free gift?
Yeah.
Okay, so can Naaman earn? Can he earn what he just received?
No.
So obviously the reason that nothing was taken from him is because you can't earn it. What do you think would have happened if he would have took payment? Wouldn't Naaman have believed that he earned it?
Yeah.
Hey, check this
I
out.
did this.
Well, hold on. Let me finish going over this real quick, Jess. So this is also, and I don't want to trust me right now. I'm not getting into the whole first covenant law keepers, but this is still an argument against that. When you receive something for free, you don't try to earn it. But notice what he thinks he's supposed to do. Wasn't it natural for him to want to pay? Ain't that natural? You can tell it's natural. Just like us today, it's natural. It's natural. It's natural that we do something, right? A merit, like here. Okay. So he says, but he refused him. And Naaman said, "Shall there not then, I pray thee, be given to thy servant 2 mules, burden of earth?" That means no work, like new mules.
Mm. Okay. That makes sense.
For thy servant will henceforth offer neither burnt offerings nor sacrifice unto other gods, but unto the Lord. In this thing the Lord pardoned thy servant, that when my master goeth into the house of Rimmon to worship there, and he leaneth of my hand, and I bow myself in the house of Rimmon, when I bow down myself in the house of Rimmon, the Lord pardoned thy servant in this thing. And he said unto him, Go in peace. So he departed. So who is he calling a servant here in 18?
18.
Who's the servant?
Himself.
Himself,
yeah.
right?
Himself.
So all of a sudden he's claiming to be a servant, right? So he says, in this thing, the Lord thy servant says that when my master goeth into the house of Rimmon to worship there, and he leaneth on my hand, and I bow myself into the house of Rimmon, when I bowed down myself in the house of Rimmon, the Lord pardoned thy servant in this thing. Meaning, well, I hope I don't get in trouble for not giving you money. But 17, and Naaman said, Shall there not then, I pray thee, be given to thy servant 2 mules, burden of earth, for thy sacrifice unto their gods and unto thy Lord?
Okay, check this out. In 15, In 15, verse 15, look what we have in that one verse alone. Naaman, what did he do? Become a child of God. He became born again. The second thing he did, he returned to God. He received his grace. And the third thing he did was spoke faith. He confessed that God is God.
Yeah, and that's what you do when you become a believer.
Exactly. And then in that one little verse, we see all three of those. If we could just look with our spiritual eyes and not our carnal eyes.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened.
Amen.
So, let's see. There's something else right here.
So, Trot, verse 18, like, I think I'm trying to like process this, right? But it says he's asking for future forgiveness. Is how I'm reading that, because he says when he goes back to his king, because he's not the king, he's just the commander. He's like the right hand.
Yeah, right.
So he says when we go back, I'm just using my layman's terms. He's like when I go back to Syria, and the king wants to go into the temple of Rimmon, and when he bows down, he's grabbing onto his commander's arm, and he says that I have to bow down also, basically with him. He says, "May the Lord forgive your servant for this." So it's like he's asking for forgiveness for future sins, and Elijah's like, "Go in peace," which that's the part where I don't want to say anything crazy, but I'll let you say something crazy.
Yeah, no, because you got to remember,
Oasis.
You got to remember, back in the day, if you were the right hand of the king, you were king. You got to understand that, right? It's like a known thing. You may not be the actual king, but everybody treats you like the king. Period. Like that has to be understood. If that's not understood, then the strong significance of who Christ is on the right hand of the Father doesn't make sense. Then it doesn't make sense to you.
It also has power. It has the same power.
Well,
like Mordecai.
the reason that you have power is because you're the king. So that's the whole point, right? So when Jesus sits on the right hand of the Father, he is the Father. When Joseph was right hand of the Pharaoh, he was Pharaoh. Naaman is called a king in the Bible, even to us today, because of that understanding. So, even though he was the right hand, he was the king because he was the right hand. Like, it was just an understood thing in history. It's very understood. It's not understood today because we don't see the like right now you have Joe Biden and Kamala's Harris there. Harris is not the president, but it is the right of the president. That's why if Joe Biden was to not be president for whatever reason, I mean, he could step down if he wanted to, but she would be president because she's next in line. Period. Right? But it's still not strong. It's still not that's still not a strong understanding here, because people do not treat her as president. But back in those days, she would be treated as president, 100%. But we just don't do that here because, America, when we became America, we were trying to run away from tyrannical names, and we didn't want to call the person in charge king. We didn't want to do that. So we picked a more humble name, like, president of the book club. That's why they chose the name president, right? So it wasn't so.
Families, they do that. We can see that in countries where there's royalty. We could, like the runner up. You can see how that person is treated as if they were in that position, because they know that person will eventually be in that position.
Yeah,
so
no,
give them that adoration all the time.
I get all that. My question is more along the lines of the future. Requesting. You see what I'm saying?
No. Yeah, no, I was only bringing that up for maybe someone that didn't understand. So whoever does understand, obviously, I'm not talking to you, but there's always at least one that don't understand that. But yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. He's talking about, look, I'm the right hand man of this king, and I still have to do some of the things that he does. Yeah, I mean, 100%. That's what he's telling them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was that 18? Let me see. 17.
Would that go in line with the reason I'm bringing that up? And I thought you were going to say it, but I guess I'll try to I'll plow at your heifer here. But that would have to do with when you're born again, your spirit is forever born again. Like you can't undo what your spirit is. 1/3 Holy Spirit. Like that's it. Like your flesh is still going to fail. It's up to your soul to decide between spirit and flesh. But
you're talking about him.
Oasis, once saved, always saved. Say it, man.
Gosh,
say it.
Relax.
You're talking about him having this fear that he may not be right with God anymore because of the future events. Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to get to. Because
I look at it differently. I look at this because he worships another God. He wants to. He's trying. I look at it like he's making sure that it's not going to be a problem, and he's not going to lose his blessing because he's going to kneel
What's
down
not going to be a
another
problem?
God.
Hold on, Jess. Hold on. What's not going to be a problem? You're looking at it like this is not. What?
Well, in 18, when he's asking, and when he says, "When I bow down in the temple of Rimmon, may the Lord please pardon your servant in this thing." Because
so what thing are you saying that he's asking pardon for? What thing?
That for going and bowing down to another God.
No, but he's doing it because he's the right hand of the king. He has to do it with the king. He's saying that when I go in here and the king bows, I have to bow.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing it differently.
So can I get back on track here? So it's almost how I'm seeing it. It's almost like he is the spirit and the king is the flesh. You understand what I'm saying? Like he has to live. He's
always like that. Saul and David.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to get to. It's the depiction of salvation through and through. And you're born again. Your spirit is born again, but there's going to be things in your life that is still going to drag you down, the things of this world. And he's saying, please forgive me because there's some things that I'm going to have to do because I am still in this world. And what God is telling him, Elijah is telling him, God's telling him, go in peace. Like you're good, but people don't see it. And they're just focusing on the wrong thing. And that's the point I'm trying to get to.
Well, that's the point. That's the whole point. The whole point is he became like a child. That's why I said, what part of you becomes a child?
Your spirit.
Your spirit. So you become perfect in your spirit. That's the whole point of this thing right here is you become perfect in your spirit. That's where you're perfect, in your spirit. And so
that's what I'm trying to hit, bro. That's what I was trying to hit this whole time.
But we already went over that.
Oh, I know that, but this part right here, this particular verse, when he says, like people read that and they don't understand. It's like, oh well, he's gonna go worship other gods or whatever the case. They're not understanding that it's the spirit. The spirit inside of the man is like, hey, your spirit is constantly 24/7 praying. Your spirit is constantly in the presence of God. Your spirit is constantly saying, holy, 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 while your flesh is a thorn and it's going to continuously do things that you can't control. But God doesn't care about your flesh. He cares about your spirit being born again. That's what makes you alive. That's what makes the dry, desolate land become living waters after going into the Jordan.
So what healed, so what healed the man, right? What healed him was the rivers of Israel. That's what healed him, and it's the same today. There was somebody that came in here yesterday, and they were talking about, hey, how come God doesn't heal you? That's awkward. I can't remember the name of the person, but their little picture that they have in there, I remember them always coming in here and like starting strife. I just can't remember what the person's name is, but it's a weird little like cube, but it's not the name cube. It's not the same person. It's another person. They have this.
That's Anunnaki, bro. That's Anunnaki,
yes,
bro.
Nunnaki.
That's who it is.
Yeah, Nunnaki.
Okay, so he came in. He came in here again yesterday, and he's always like, I don't know. He just allows Satan to like just whoop his butt. He gets beat up by Satan every day, and like
Every
tries to make him.
I
and
know.
he tries to make you believe that it's okay. It's like, bro,
I
it's
told
not
him
okay.
yesterday. bro, man, you're torturing yourself. It's like you like this.
Yeah.
So when you
Yeah.
get sick of it, let us know, and we're gonna be here. We're
Yeah.
not going nowhere.
He's
We'll
right
get
now.
over it.
He's going through it. But again, the Bible makes it clear. It says, resist the devil and he will flee. And boy, I tell you what, that boy can't resist for a second. I mean, that dude is I was sniffling and he's like, why are you taking medication for that? You should tell God to heal you. And I'm like, well, that's funny.
He does that stuff on purpose.
Oh yeah.
He does it
and I'm
to
like,
see your reaction.
And I said, well, that's funny. I said, obviously you don't understand healing, because what's happening here with Naaman, this is not trying to show us how to receive a physical healing. I'm sorry, it's not. It's showing you how to receive your spiritual healing, the part of you that always cries out to God that you're in a dark place, that I need to be rescued from this dark place. And so, but guys like that, they see Naaman getting physically healed, and they're like, well, then God should heal you. And they're fools. They have no idea what they're talking about. And so, again, that doesn't take away the power of God. Can God heal? Man, listen, it's not the greater thing. Greater things shall you do. What's the greater thing? They go, oh, well, that just means we're going to heal more people. Oh, Lord. Oh, brother.
Can I go on to something else? Well, not like in the same subject.
I have a question real quick.
So
though.
before we move on.
I'm not moving on. Give me a second. Let me just say this, because it goes along the line of my thing here that I'm saying.
Just want to see if I got this right, what you're thinking. I just want to go through out a sense. Spirit is the one that is the king, which is God. And the servant is the flesh that represents the king.
No. Naaman is the spirit. Wow. The king is the flesh.
That's what I'm saying. The spirit is Naaman.
You said the spirit was king.
Oh, then I got it backwards. Okay.
So the spirit is Naaman, the king in the quote unquote king in this, not Jesus. The king, the carnal king, is literally that, the carnal king. But Naaman was born again, so he is the spirit, and the king is the flesh on this earth. It's the funny thing is that it's not a coincidence that Naaman's name means pleasant, and the reason he's pleasant is because he obeyed the servant, and the servant is Jesus.
Oh, it's not a coincidence at all.
Oh, I know it's not.
Yeah, it's not a coincidence at all. What?
There are no coincidences. So
again, wait, Dre, say that again. Say what you just said right now. Say it again. I need to hear that again.
The king, the Naaman was born again. He was the one that received the revelation, which is the spirit. So his spirit becomes born again. So in the representation of a human being, soul, spirit, and body, right? He would be the spirit because he's born again. The king, he's asking for future forgiveness for what his flesh is going to do.
Yeah, let me throw this part out there, Dre. So we know his spirit became born again, right?
Yes.
Okay, and we know the king is a representation of the flesh that rules in this world, correct?
Yes,
because
sir.
our carnal mind is the seed of Satan, which means this unalive part of us in this world is king here. So you have the flesh, and then we have the saved part. But it's the soul that's asking these questions here. It's the soul that's saying, hey, I'm going to go, and it's the soul that's talking, not the spirit. The spirit part of him is born again. The king, the flesh, is the body, but it's the soul that's the one that constantly wants to be sure. You understand? It's the soul that's like, hey, dude, I got to tell you, when I basically, in layman's terms, bro, when I leave here, my king's going to go in that temple, and I got to go in there with them. Am I good? But it's the soul asking.
Yeah.
It's the soul asking.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it's the soul asking this, and that's why he's told, go in peace.
What makes more sense? Yeah.
You're not in peace.
Yeah.
You're not in peace.
Spirit and body together. Now I'm seeing the full picture better. Yeah.
Yeah. Now in the Old Testament,
the part about the soul.
In the Old Testament, it's not clear. It's hard to see unless you're not looking, but if you're looking, you can see all three. I dislike it so much when people say, well, where does it say spirit, soul, and body in the Old Testament? And here we go again, arguing and fighting over physical scripture. I'm telling you, it's there. If you look, it's there, and it's all over the place. It's not just here. It's not just here.
And Naaman means pleasantness. Why is it pleasant? Because it obeyed the servant. And who is the servant? Jesus. And what's the only thing that's pleasant to the Father? Jesus. That's the only thing that's pleasant to God. Jesus. So Eden became revived again. Naaman, it became pleasant by the revelation of the Spirit. That's amazing.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. 100%.
And
now let's go down to the twos and twos, bro.
Huh? Go down.
Now
to
let's go back to that wicked Gehazi.
Yeah, y'all want to talk about Gehazi? We could talk.
I got a question
We could talk because I'm telling you, bro. Like the rest of it is probably another 20, 30 minutes conversation, and it's already about to be 10.
Yeah, I got a question that might take a few minutes.
In the words of true Christian, Mike, go in peace.
Go in peace. Hey, just like Elisha said, go in peace. You know, the go in peace.
Yeah, that's why I said it.
The go in peace is a biblical term, man. Go in peace. You know, go in peace. So, yeah.
So is this why they went when we see the man outside the waters that has leprosy when Jesus is walking, when Jesus comes?
What's your question?
Is this why they were doing that?
What do you mean, is this why?
Like, as far as why they were all gathering around the pool of water?
Bro, spit it out, CJ. Spit out
what scripture are you talking about, CJ? No, with CJ, you got to make him show you a scripture. CJ, bring up the address, bro. Bring up the address.
Oh, it's like you got pulling teeth to get the sentence out. Come on, CJ, tell me, what is it?
CJ,
that's because CJ talks in ad libs, guys.
Big time.
They're called parables.
Love them. Oh,
you just don't understand.
Yeah, but you like shorten them. You make them even shorter. You cut them even more.
Oh, hold on.
That's shorthand you're talking, brother. You're not even talking parables. He's literally talking shorthand.
Jesus, went. People. Peace.
Nah. They're called parables. You just don't understand them.
Parables, you're using like
CJ, what?
You're using the short version of the short.
They're distracting me. Hold on.
Yeah, I know. Hey, no, nobody can distract you. You have your own mind. Stop allowing the distraction. Just tune them out. Do what you got to do.
Ahí coge, prende.
That's right. It's like the drill instructor kicking you in your nuts while you're trying to shoot a weapon.
We don't give any free trophies
Better not.
here just because you show up, CJ. You don't get any free trophies or badges.
She said just because you show up.
Just because you show up.
Just because you show. Who do you think you are? Just because you showed up here.
All right. I think it's Luke 5. Hold on. Let me get there. I think it's Luke 5.
Toda la vida.
No, let's not think. I need you to give me a for sure.
Le hace falta el café con leche.
Le hace falta un cortadito cubano.
Nah. This isn't it.
Oh, man. I tell you what.
Man.
I know you'll see your friends be like, come on, CJ,
you know what
let's go, CJ.
You know that story about the rabbit and the turtle? And it's slow and easy, wins the race. CJ, man, I know you're going to win the race, but I am going to fall down. You know how many rabbit holes? I'm literally tripping over myself here.
I'm sorry. I know you guys know what I'm talking about, so don't act like.
Say it again, CJ. Say it again.
Are you talking about the 10 lepers?
The one where
Hold on. Let him say it.
Nah, where the leper is outside of the pool of water where everyone gathers, and they all are waiting to be healed in the water.
He couldn't walk.
I thought he was
blind,
No, that's
the
the
lame
guy. The
Oh,
lame. That's
see,
the lame
that's the
guy.
problem.
The
I'm
guy
saying
is
leopard.
lame. He's not a leopard. He's lame.
Regardless, that's not the point. Is this why they were going to the water? Is this why they were gathering around the water like that?
CJ, I
What?
said bring the address. I don't know what is so hard with
I
that.
got you, CJ. I got you, CJ. It is John chapter 5 and 5.
Hold on.
John 5,
Hold
5.
on. CJ, this is what I need from you. I need you
Yeah.
to go read. Listen, I need you to go read what Dre just said. And the
Yeah.
only thing I need from you is either that's the address or not. Killing me, Smalls. Y'all are killing me.
Dun, 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 dun.
Jesse, relax. Jesse's on one right now.
Yeah.
We mess with Jesse so much, Trot, that when we start messing with somebody else, she just jumps on that bandwagon, boy.
She's like, wow.
Yeah.
Somebody else finally getting it.
Yeah, boy. There you go. That's the rodeo.
Yeah, this is the one.
One falls off and the other one jumps on. Yay! Yeah, go get him! Go get him!
All right, CJ, is that it or not?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. So what's the address, CJ?
John 5, 1 through.
Okay, hold on. John 5.
1 through 16.
No, are you a
1 through
worship
16.
leader for
Okay.
Episcopalian church
No.
or Methodist church?
I am a worship leader for the Church of Christ. Ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so John quit being distracted.
Definitely
okay,
Orthodox.
So, CJ, quit being distracted. John 5, 116. What's your question?
I was asking if this is why they were gathering at the waters.
Gathering at the waters. Okay, this is what we're going to do. It's already 10. So tomorrow we're going to finish 2 Kings 5. And when I say finish, I'm not talking about reading it. We've already read it. We're going to continue to go through there to see some things that are hidden, some pretty cool things that's in the rest of this. When we're done, we're going to go to John 5, 1 through 16, because CJ asked, what's your question again? Is this why they gathered around the waters?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, like is the
CJ, I'm not kidding, bro. We come back here tomorrow and you don't even remember your own question, we're gonna have an issue, bro.
Cool, CJ. I already put it down for you. I got your back. I got it. John 5, 1 through 16, the waters.
Don't forget your own question.
Around the waters. I got you, CJ.
I won't forget. I won't
I
forget.
got you.
I might have it more.
I got my brother.
I might have it more.
Matter of fact, as a matter of fact, if we have a two-a-day today, thank you, Mark Garcia. If we have a two-a-day today, we might be able to talk about it. CJ, are you going to be here if we have a two-a-day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's going to be practicing his hymns for
his
church
hymn?
on Sunday.
Dre, you going to be able to do a two-a-day today?
Yeah, man.
Huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Okay, so
Look,
the
CJ,
two-a-day.
we don't
the
care about
two-a-day-
your old team or your old school.
That's good, Jordan. That's good.
Oh, he's going to sing that song when they gather around the waters with that, that song goes. When they gather around the waters.
Yeah, how does it go? How does it go? Do you remember, Jess?
I got a hymn book. Let me go check
I
it out.
don't know, Alex.
Hold on.
I worship we worship in spirit.
Hold on, Jess. Jess, do you have a hymn book for real?
Yes, I got a hymn book.
Yeah.
Go get it. Hey, go get it real quick. Hey, wait a minute. Are you sure that song?
I got a hymn book.
Hold on. Are you sure that song's in that book, though? Are you sure that song's in that book, though?
I don't know. We're gonna.
I got it. It says, "Shall we gather at the river?
Shall we gather at the river?"
Yeah, but but how does it go? I can't remember the melody.
I don't know how the melody goes, but I'll read it for you. It says,
"Shall we gather at the river?
Where
we
bright
go, Doug.
angel feet have trod. It's where the Christmas
Hold on a second. Hold on a second, Doug.
God.
Doug, do you remember the song, Doug?
The
Is that
name
the one
of
that
it?
is that the one that goes, yes,
Is that
we
what y'all are
gather
looking
at the
for?
river, the
Rivers.
beautiful,
Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
All right,
the
Dre, go hit it.
beautiful, beautiful
Nah,
river.
start it
I
over.
can't
Nah,
sing,
nah,
bro. I
nah, nah.
can't sing. Nah, bro.
Start it over. I don't care. I want to hear the melody.
Where is it in your book? What
Here we
book do
go.
you have?
You got it pulled up.
Give him big screen. Give him big screen. Give
Oh
big boy
yeah.
big
Oh,
screen.
he didn't put it up. It's not a video.
Okay. I'm telling you, these are hymns. These go a little
An
slow.
organ.
Shall
Oh no,
we
I don't think it's gonna
gather
sing
at
Nah,
it.
the
I don't
river?
think it's gonna
nah.
sing it.
It's just a melody.
This is
It's just the
slow.
music.
Yeah, it's not gonna
I'm
sing it.
trying to
Sorry.
find it here. I know I got it here.
I'm looking right at it.
What's the
I'm looking
name?
right
Wait a
at
minute.
it.
What's the name of the song? What's the
Shall we
name?
gather at the river?
Why can't I? Wait a minute.
Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather the saints at the river that flows from the throne of God.
Why is it? I think my hymn
Oh,
book
I
has
know.
it under another name.
I've sung that song 100
Of
times. I
course.
just can't get the melody in my head.
I have
Shall
not.
we gather
It's
at the
funny.
river? Bum, bum, ba, ba, ba. That's how it goes when you're singing it in
No, you're
church.
singing.
no.
You're singing.
No.
Jesus loves the little children.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not.
Jesus loves the little
Oh
children.
Here, I'm gonna
Yeah,
pull it up.
all the children of the world, purple, green, black, or white. He is
No.
precious in their sight.
No, he messed that up.
Yep,
See, that's
that's
how it
it.
is. That's why
That's
I
it.
asked him.
Man, I
"Do you
ain't heard
work
that
for a
song in
Methodist or
forever, dude.
Presbyterian church?" That's
Doug,
why I asked
we
CJ.
Guys,
Doug,
this
we
song is based
appreciate
on
your
Revelation
diligence.
22:1. Just so y'all know.
Oh my Lord, have
Ooh, let's
mercy.
write that down.
I'm
Let's go.
serious. I'm not
Yeah,
even
no, I
joking.
know.
Revelations 22,
Yep.
22 and 1.
It says, "The river of the tree of life, the glorious name of the
Ooh.
servants of God."
Maybe we should
Oh
study
Lord.
that tomorrow. The tree of
Yep.
life or the river, the
And
living
he
waters.
shewed me a pure river of
Hey,
water,
I'm just
white,
gonna
clear
say
as
this.
crystal.
I'm just gonna say this one time. If y'all been paying attention,
Oh.
if y'all been paying attention, all those controversial topics, we study them all the time, whether you know it or not. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, well, we're writing the nuggets down. We're getting
We
it.
tear them apart.
Oh, they're
Hey,
not
Jesse.
nuggets. They're not nuggets, Jesse. They're steaks. They're
Oh,
not nuggets.
listen, these are
Jesse.
gold nuggets. Wait a minute. I'm eating the
No,
steak, but I'm putting my
no,
gold
no,
nuggets in my
no.
bag.
There are
Forget
no
Jesse.
nuggets here.
Taylor.
There are no nuggets
I'm
here.
getting double whammies.
Taylor. You see the
Double
difference
whammies.
between our God's throne and the fake God Allah's throne, and what flows from that throne compared to
Yeah,
the
yep.
throne?
Yeah.
They so
The
nasty.
river flows from the throne of God through the tree of life into the garden, and then it splits into 4 rivers.
Yeah. Hey, y'all got to be careful talking about Revelation in front of Doug, because Doug won't stop. He'll hop on it. He'll hop on that Revelation train.
Hop on it. Hop
Open
on it.
knives, Doug.
I don't talk about that.
All right, so check it out. So obviously this live is done, the show of the morning. So what we're gonna do, I don't know if everybody can make it, but we are gonna talk. We're gonna finish 2 Kings 5. We're gonna go through the rest of it, and then we're gonna go to John 5 1 through 16, and that's gonna be
look at Bill's Holland Lop. Look at Bill's Holland Lop. That's cute.
At what time are we meeting today?
Well, I was gonna say that, but felt it was time to admire anal glands with hair, whatever that is. I'm not sure what that is right there.
Yo, that's my money.
Bill said, yo.
Yo.
Hey, what kind of dog is that again?
He said that's his monito, bro.
I think that's a pure beagle.
He said, that's leave my monito alone. That's hilarious. All right, Jude. All right. She's like, stop it, Trot. Every time I make fun of little dogs, about 5 people get in here get mad. Y'all love dogs more than me, man. Y'all gonna hurt me over a dog. That's not fair. But all right. So we're gonna do it at, let me see, 10.
Who's making that noise?
I don't know. I think Bill's.
Bill, you gotta unmute and mute because we could still hear you, bro. You got a lot of noise going on. Your mute is not working. Try it now. So it's still not working. No, now it is.
Oh, I am on.
No, it's not. No, it wasn't working.
Okay, all right, Bill, just stay muted, Bill. Stay muted for a second. He's outsiders win. Anyway, so let me see. Give me a second. 2, 3. All right. So today, I think 2 o'clock. I think it's the 2-a-day is gonna have to be at 2 today, Central Time. 2 o'clock Central Time.
Yeah, that should be good.
Dre, I didn't hear what he said. Dre, you there?
You're muted. Dre.
You're muted. I didn't mute you though.
Nah.
Not fake you muted like Bill was. You're muted.
Yeah, he's muted. All right, well, either way.
Dre,
so
can you hear us?
Look,
No, it's all
I
right.
just can't.
Hey,
I just
we'll do
came
the-
out because you guys couldn't keep my name out your mouth. Talking about Jordan's the greatest. Go to Jordan. Jordan's revelation.
Go to Jordan.
Goodness, here we go.
That's all Jordan. Hey, that's all Jordan heard. He was like, "Man, I am it. I am the bee's knees. I knew it. I knew I was God's favorite." Trot, you're a liar. I just want to remind everybody that I am God's favorite, and he has a picture of me in his wallet. And when he's bragging about all of us, I am the first one that he talks about because I'm the first picture. If you didn't know that, I apologize. Sorry to be the bearer of the news for you, but for me, it's good news.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm the last.
You're the old covenant first that becomes last.
I'm the last. I'm the lowliest.
Oh, listen to this. No, I'm the first because of the new covenant. I was the last. I was the one that he seemed like he didn't care for me. But it's kind of well, better yet, let's just do it this way. Okay, 2 o'clock. We're gonna finish this off at 2. So 2 o'clock Central Time. 2 o'clock Central Time. We'll see you guys in a few hours.
Alrighty. Adios. God bless.
All right, guys. Bless you.